Well, a very good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another FlyJSim live stream. Today it's the 26th of November 2020, 34 minutes past 4 in the afternoon. Here we are back in X-Plane 11 and once again back in the outstanding FlyJSim 737-200. Now, I was looking back at my earlier streams. It's been almost 4 months since we've last flown the 200. We took that aircraft from Doncaster to Copenhagen and magically we've managed to appear and place ourselves into Jamaica. We have a new branch of Alpaca Airways here in Kingston, where we ship all your favourite reggae and jerk sauce and rum and other known Jamaican products as well. Plenty of people here in chat this evening, lots of members. We've got Bjorn Evan Wallstrom. VOR is really fun. That's all we're doing today. Not a single ILS approach. We're going to be flying a VOR approach and a visual approach today into the two destinations, which we'll talk about shortly. Shazam it. Yes, this intro song was actually sent to me by, I can't remember his name. I haven't spoken to him in a long time, but one of our subscribers who wrote the music for me. I'll try and find out what that is before the end of the stream. If you're a member, drop that message in Discord. We've got Ewold Teverdell here, Tim Waters, B9 Bot 1, Marianne is around, making sure you're behaving yourself. Seattle Aviator G said, I've had problems with the Mad Dog MD-90, but I love flying this plane. I cheat, however, by using Pilot to ATC, which really helps the descent planning. Alright, well, Seattle Aviator G, I'll try my best to give you some top tips to work out your top descent point, which is obviously we'll be having to do that today because we don't have a flight management computer. Elgin Thomas was thinking of you earlier in a good way. Ooh, good. As a 727 screamed low over Manchester inbound to Doncaster. Very cool, Elgin Thomas. Was that the oil spill response one? I have no idea, but that sounds excellent. Anyway, so what have we got in store for you today? Well, as I said, we're in Kingston here, Jamaica. We flew into this airport in the Zebo Mod 737 about 2 to 3 weeks ago. We're going to be flying 2 sectors today, both very short, around an hour each. We're going to be initially heading westbound to go to the Cayman Islands, the first ever time we visited the Cayman Islands there. Got some fantastic scenery there from runway 26 simulations. We're going to do a quick turnaround and then we're going to head northbound to Key West. Airport we have flown out from before in a Douglas DC-3 of all aircraft, but two really exciting destinations because they both have short runways, all non-precision approaches or visual approaches. Thankfully the weather is on our side today with active sky and live weather. It's an absolute scorcher here in Jamaica right now, 30 degrees Celsius. Live time, I think the local time here is 11:36 in the morning. We are without a sim, so we haven't got any ATC at the moment, so depending on what the situation's like coming into Grand Cayman, we might stay on the network because I want to demonstrate either a DME Arca approach or a procedural base turn approach. There's two available here, and this is obviously the perfect aircraft to do that this evening. This airport scenery as well, it's from the org forum, completely free to download from Rufo. So type in Rufo in Google with this airport, you can download the scenery. It's absolutely covered with Alpaca Airways this evening, absolutely everywhere. So quite a few people joining us on the sector, but here is the beloved 737-200, rust-free from FlyJSim here. It's been, as I said, a while since we've flown it here, but it is one of my favourite pay aircraft. All of my pay aircraft are pretty much my favourite aircraft, but yes, last stream, my goodness, the Blériot 11. We haven't even shifted ourselves into the 21st century yet. We're still in this fantastic old-school aircraft here. Liveries from one of my members. I think he's left recently, but we have members coming back in and out all the time. But Icefire, thank you very much again for when you made me this awesome livery. It's not in the Alpaca Airways livery, only FlyJSim, but it's very similar to the Alpaca Airways livery. If you would like to grab this, use the command !livery in chat and you'll be able to download this file. Anyway, it's old, look, we've got our air stairs extended, no air bridge today, we're completely cold now, I've done absolutely nothing for the setup except lower the air stairs at the front door. And on that note, we'll jump into the cockpit, there we are. Right, we'll turn the volume down slightly and let's get the show on the road. So we'll put the battery on, let's get the GPU on the bus. Turn the music off here, there we go. So, just got to remember where on earth do I get the GPU selected? This one here. There we go. I just stuck the key in it. There we are. GPU's available on the bus. Now, I fly this aircraft just like I fly the NG. Obviously, the instrumentation's a little bit different and a bit more old school, but it's great for practicing basic IR skills. So I will, where possible, and in detail, explain what I'm doing and at what setup. We'll brief the approaches and arrivals and in detail and the SID too, so you know what I'm doing. Right, We'll turn it off now, so batteries on, GPU's on the bus, we'll pop on the electric hydraulic pumps, we'll leave the interconnect switch closed, so that doesn't pressurise that system, but we don't need it at the moment. Landing gear lever, we've got 3 green lights, and then we check all the aircraft documentation. We don't have the backup lights like in the NG here, so we only have the 3 green lights down there. Let's do the fault and fire test now. So, it checks the bottles, there's only one direction to check that. Overheat detector, slightly different layout, but it's essentially the same switches that illuminate on the NG. We have overheat detector there as well. We'll do a fire test. Sounding correctly. Lovely. Work our way up here. Emergency exit lines are armed. Now I've already pre-fueled the aircraft because there's no kind of live fueling effects with this add-on. Pretty much a full load of passengers for the 200s. I just took a little bit out the front and the rear, so 76 passengers, no cargo, which gives us a zero fuel weight of 38.5, which is the figure I used in SimBrief. And the fuel for this sector, we've gone with 7.2 tonnes, which is a little bit extra, just in case we have any issues on with delays on VATSIM if we're still on the network here. But just to show you the first operational flight plan, here she is. We need a minimum of 6 tonnes, so all I've taken is an extra 30 minutes of fuel on top of standard block fuel. So that's the weight and balance done. We'll pop the seatbelt sign on because the fueling's done. Test the attend button. Don't usually test the ground call, but it's cool to hear. Rain repellent, we don't have that on the NG. Wipers will put to park. So that's all set. Flaps are up, and they're up on the gauge here. Got the takeoff config warning horn working. No auto throttle on this aircraft as well, which also adds to the workload. And that's all set down here. We'll put the transponder to standby 2000 for now. Cargo fire test. There we are, just a fire warning light that's illuminated. Working our way down here. We'll settle these up accordingly. Massive rudder trim, stab trim release pool. I don't think that's modelled here, but we've got the fire extinguisher in, all the circuit breakers are in here, emergency escape ropes attached. We are going to use, well, we don't have IRS, we have INS. I am not going to be using it on the first sector on request from one of my members who wanted VOR navigation, but we will use INS navigation on the second sector. But I am going to load it up here anyway, just to update our position. That way we can use information from the INS, such as ground speed, winds aloft on route and stuff, so it's quite useful. Right, so that's all set up there, and we'll imagine we've started the boarding, so let's have a look at the situation here. My goodness, we actually have some ATC here. There's a centre online and an ATIS frequency. Let's have a look here. We actually have ATC here. I didn't think that would be the case. Well, we'll tune the ATIS first, 127.7. And we'll pop that in VHF2.
Contact, you have information, Bravo.
So let's grab the weather.
For chart, send information. Visit Kingston.dc. R.org.
Ah?
Kingston. Norman Manley International Airport, information, Bravo.
Information, Bravo.
At time 1600 Zulu. Our nav approach in use. Runway 30 in use, transition level 180, wind 280 degrees at 5 knots, visibility 10 kilometers.
Ah, it's quick.
Clouds. Few clouds at 2200 feet, temperature 302.23. QNH 1014, advise on initial contact. You have information, Bravo.
Lovely, so we've got the information, Bravo, 1600 Zulu. So it's about 45 minutes old. In reality, it probably would have changed. Runway 30, transition level 180. Winds down the runway, pretty much 280 at 5 knots, 10k. A few clouds at 2,200. It's 30 degrees, lovely and warm, and the QNH is 1014, which will set 3 times. So here's the captain's altimeter. Here's the standby. And we also need to set Jim's first officer as well, because he's a lazy beggar. There we go. Perfect. AV777X, you're flying me to my home airport. Fantastic. So I guess you're from the Cayman Islands. Very cool. Littoral Games says, a little late, but here I am. Good evening, everyone. Good day to you. PS3 Bulldog, how do we get the Alpaca Airways liveries? Now, I always link them, the livery I'm using during the stream. So if you go back to any of my old previous streams, keep an eye out on chat, and you'll find out, or somewhere in the chat someone's asked for it. That's the easiest way of doing it. There we go. someone's asking about plugins, but yeah, I'll keep. If you've got questions, guys, well, to be fair, it's quite a short flight today, but the crews in flight generally have a bit more time to check things. Otherwise, I just like to get the show on the road for now. Right, we've got the ATIS, we've got the information. Let's have a little look at the runway QDM here. So I'm just going to initially set the runway heading and courses for runway 30298. So we'll put them all up to 298, which is going to take ages because all the reciprocal heading. So 298 course, 298. It's quicker to do it that way, and the first stops is course 298. Perfect, and we're just going to get the INS up and whirling here. Now, as I said, we're not going to use this on the first sector for navigation, but we will update it with just our position, just so we can use the information from there, or supplementary information. So we'll rotate that to standby, rotate this to position. We need to work out our coordinates, so for this you'll need the aerodrome chart here. We're on stand 12 of the cargo apron, so I'm just jump outside to show you here. Now we are at stand number 12. So what we need to do here is put in our coordinates for stand number 12, which is here. So that is going to be north 1756.1, insert, and then west 7646.7. So 7646.7. There we are. Insert. So we told the INS where we are. We're going to move this to align, and now that should take here to take around, I don't know, we're not too far from the equator here, are we? So probably 7 or 8 minutes, so that number will eventually count down to 0 for the alignment there. We'll keep an eye on it as we set up the aircraft. So FMC would be loaded at this stage, but we've got the INS here, so we'll work our way up here to the overhead panel. Your damper will pop on, nav transfer, display switches. We obviously don't have after this here, no EFIS panel, so in this aircraft we've got a VHF nav, compass, which you don't need to align in this aircraft, and the gyro. We'll just leave those switches in normal. We've got fuel heat. I haven't touched that here. I don't know if that's entirely modelled because it's 30 degrees outside here and it's saying the temperature is -2, so I imagine that we'll probably have a bit of heat on, but we'll leave it as it is. No fuel in the centre tank, so we'll just put the main tank pumps on. See here that fuel quantity is 0, and it's in pounds, so we got 16,000 pounds of fuel. Check the cross feed valve. Bright, dim, bright, and off. AC/DC metering panel's pretty much set. Galley, we'll put the switch on. IDG, oil temperature when the engine's not running, so that's low. AC amps. We're not using the. We're using the GPE to provide power here, but that's on 0. Maybe there's meant to be some reading there, not sure. Get the APU started shortly. Lightings are set. Cooling normal. That's all set here. Working our way up here. Put the window heat on at this stage. Even though it's 30 degrees, we still turn it on. Wing anti-ice isn't required. Diff pressure 0, cabin altitude 0, cabin rate of climb 0. None of the needles are broken. Temperatures will leave a normal. Pop the isolation valve open, cruising at flight level 300. Flight level 300, cabin altitude wants to be 5,800 feet. So that is now set. Elevation sea level at our destination, so we'll put that down to 0. I'm going to put that switch to flight. If you don't do that at the 200, you'll end up not pressurising properly. So I put that switch straight away there, even though you're not meant to perhaps. Leave that to auto. Position light should be on. Right, let's have a little look at this SID we're expecting today. So we've filed for a Goodil 5 departure, and that's our first waypoint immediately after departure. Look, it's very close, 7 miles, and then we're going to be tracking outbound on the 306 radial to Kembo. So it's a lovely, easy SID for us to fly today, which I'm more than happy to fly. 15.5 will tune up the Manley VOR both sides. So 15.5. That's set. So the initial climb is after takeoff climb on the Manley 300 radial. So we'll stick that both sides here for now until we get to Goodil. Then once we get to Goodall, we need to be at or above 2,800 feet and then intercept our assigned route. If unable to cross at 2,800, request climb on a different radial. We'll definitely be able to do that. We've got the performance. And then from us, it's going to be the 306 radial. So initially, we're going a heading of 308. 308, so I'm going to preset that heading here. And then we're going to intercept the 306 radial, which I'll put up here. And then all we have to do essentially when the VOR is aligned is engage forelock and we'll be able to head out. But, that's it. Stop altitude, it says here, climb to 5,000 feet, then request to intercept assigned route. So we're going to set 5,000 feet here on the altitude alert box, and we'll put that to plus 100 to remind us we don't have the clearance. And that's it really. Taxi is going to be pushed back to face south. Very short taxi out via Fox Echo. There's a short length to backtrack if required, but 2,500 metres, not a full load of fuel, will be absolutely fine today. Nardo, is Seaver Navigation a worthy purchase? Absolutely. It's a nice little plug-in here just so you can navigate just as they did, you know, when INS was in its infancy, and it's a great navigational tool, completely self-contained. You can update its position using DME updating, which I actually don't know how to do, but yeah, it's great, and you started using it, well, about a year ago. Most recently, Concorde, with the Stream Concorde, which has the same Seaver plugin to use as well. Right, so that's all set on the little MCP here. Engine, takeoff performance. So I just used the default performance calculator here, which I think always presumes full takeoff power. Where is that little bug? Can't remember which one it is. No, there we are. So take off flat 5, set bugs, and you'll see here, based off your existing weight, it'll set all your correct speeds based off just a dry runway, I presume. So they're set. V1's 130, VR's 131, and V2's 137. So we'll climb up at about V2 plus 20. So if we maintain about 160 knots, that should be great for initial climb speed. We'll climb to 1,000 feet, and then we'll accelerate to the clean-up speed as well. Trim we need to set to. There we are, so trim set, and that's pretty much it. We'll get the APU started. Where are you? And then we'll get the clearance. We're doing fine for time, we're due off in another 10 minutes, but hopefully we'll be ahead of schedule this afternoon. So, pre-plan pushback. Looks like there's an alpaca already starting his journey, so we'll do that. And we'll do that there. And that'll be a good pushback for us.
Ground to cockpit. Plan acknowledged. You can call me through the menu when you are ready.
Yeah, man. Didn't even realise that. Amazing. So there's the APU starting. Perfect. So we should be able to put that on the bus imminently. Oh, it's still booting up here. Yeah, I'll get the doors closed now at least. So imagine we've got... oh, it's closed the doors automatically. I guess it does that when you power the aircraft. Show the Zebo bot doesn't do that. Remember that time when I pushed back with all the doors open still? Tim Waters like being back in Brum. Yeah, bud. Space Jam, got to say the older planes are way more interesting. Yeah, there's a lot more to do, but it's great fun. Very rewarding way of flying in a simulator. Right, pop the APU on the bus. Let's get rid of that noisy GPU. That's better. And we'll pop the APU bleed on. Get some nice cool conditioned air. It'll be very hot in the cabin. With 30 degrees outside. There we are. Dual bleed. And yeah, we'll grab our clearance. So that frequency was Kingston Centre, I believe. 125.4.
06.
There we go. Where's the volume mix here?
And
Oh, that is loud.
Caribbean Airlines 6850 clear to the Cayman International Airport. Climb 6,000 on the Good Deal 3 departure. Squawk 0706.
That is loud.
Cayman Islands 1650, no departure. It's radar vector to Kimbo.
He's getting vectors to Kimball.
Kimbo,
Uh-oh.
Kimbo,
So we can accept vectors to Kembo, that's fine, so long as we have it programmed in the FMC, it'll be fine. Is he going to read it back? I wonder. I'll just call. At Kingston Centre, hello, Alpaca 2 Charlie Mike, we're stand 12 here at Kingston. Information Bravo QNH 1014, departure clearance to the Cayman Islands, please.
Alpaca 2 Charlie Mike, Kingston radar, standby, clearance and request.
Perfect, so he knows we've called him, and we just need to wait to
Radar, good morning.
come back to us.
501 with the ATIS to Cayman. So you're 501 Kingston radar, standby, clearance and request number 2.
Aaron, Hastings, do the pilots actually have a say in how their pushback, or is it up to the dispatchers? It's up to ATC, Aaron. So ATC will want you.
1 second, please.
Want you to push back in a certain direction, and then you liaise with the tug driver and the dispatcher to say, right, you know, Heathrow ground wants us to push back to face east. You know, and they'll go right, and then they'll communicate with that to the tug driver. So that's how that sort of works. Neil Perez Coiler, new subscriber, welcome aboard, buddy. So any delay is going to be down to ATC today. We're pretty much all ready to go. We'll actually just get the tug attached now.
ground to cockpit, tow is driving off.
Excellent.
Okay, I'm sorry. What's the code for taxi? Alpaca 5145, that'd be taxi, yeah, Alpha Echo, holding 530.
A little bit congested on the apron here. Oh, look at that pushback there. That's hilarious.
Alpaca 2 Charlie Mike, stand by 1 second, I'll get you clearance shortly.
Roger, steady by Alpaca 2 Charlie Mike. Ruichiko, did cabin supervisor Mariana provide bacalao for cockpit crew? Excellent, Rui. I'm sure Mariana might have seen that. I like bacalao.
All doors and hatches are closed. Ready to connect.
No more clearances, please.
Alpaca 901 Bravo, ready for taxi.
A P Jigger 737. Hi, Captain. Quick question. Number 737.
Strap and adapter are in position. Release parking brake when you're ready to start pushback.
I will do. I'm a 7378 pilot on furlough. What sim and mod do you recommend to keep skills new to computer sims? Good question. There's loads of guys. My friends who work have asked me this as well. So there's loads of different sources. I mean, I have a custom built PC by Chill Blast, who I'd recommend.
Alpaca 2 Charlie Mike, have a clearance.
Ready to copy Alpaca 2 Charlie Mike.
Alpaca 2 Charlie Mike, cleared to Owen Roberts via radar vector to Kimbo. Climb and maintain 6000. Expect higher with me, squawk 0709.
Cleared to Cayman Islands, radar vectors to Kimbo, climb to 6,000 feet and squawk 0709, Alpaca 2 Charlie Mike, and request push and start.
Alpaca 6, question 2 Charlie Mike, it's squawk 0710.
Oh.
0710. Push start approve, question read back correct, push start approve, and expect runway 30, QNH 1014.
Squawk 0710, push and start approve, and expect runway 30, Alpaca 2 Charlie Mike. Excellent, so he said go to...
Caribbean 6050.
He said go to 6,000 feet, so 6,000 feet set. And radar vectors to Kembo. I said Kimbo, I think, but he got the message there. Now, we're a non-RNAV based aircraft, but that's not a problem. He can get us to Kembo, and we know that Kembo is on the 306 radial at 37 miles, so we'll leave everything set up on the MCP pretty much ready to go. So yeah, as I was saying to my fellow colleague, who's a 7378 driver, there's so many different options there. It depends what you want to get out of your sim experience. Now, my first laptop, which is absolutely useless for simming. It was completely fine if you wanted to just do it occasionally, which was a Dell XPS. The sky is pretty much the limit. You can spend an awful lot of money on a PC, but I reckon a budget of £800-900 will get you a very well-spec'd PC. There's lots of different options. If you're wanting to do procedures only, practice that, I'd probably actually recommend the PMDG NGX. X-Plane 11 is far more realistic with regards to weather dynamics and how the aircraft feels, but if you're wanting to just flick buttons and practice non-precision approaches using the FMC, I'd recommend that sim. I didn't think many people would expect that, but I often say, you know, it's the best way of doing it. Actually, sorry, let's get the show on the road here. So PAX off, anti-collision light is on, parking brake is set, transponder to out off. Just make sure we're all clear behind. We're not, so as soon as he gets on his way, we'll start the pushback there. Stretch our head out the window. Oh look, it's a Mercedes limousine around here. So as soon as he's out of the way, we'll start our pushback. It's just like you're just cranking, leaning your head out the window. It's absolutely awesome view. Thanks for subscribing, Madam Domsey Badigzella. Welcome. Yeah, Petrich, he's your expert on PCs, but if it depends, yeah, you know, you could spend thousands of pounds on something which is beyond here. I mean, I think the specs of my PC now you'd probably get for about that price if you built it there, but mine's about 3 years old now, or 2 years old. Come on, matey. So as soon as he's clear, his request taxi, we'll get on our way. That's a WestJet requesting taxi.
Was that you're calling for taxi? A-Sim. Okay, hold position.
Uh-oh.
Alpaca 2 Charlie Mike, cancel the pushback.
No.
There's going to be one aircraft that's currently behind you. He's going to go first.
Yeah, we've hold position for him, Alpaca 2 Charlie Mike. Perfect. Well, not perfect, but when you've got a tight apron like this, there's not much you could do. You just have to, you know, be patient, you know, wait for your turn here. But obviously an airport like this wouldn't have multiple departures. That's why the apron's designed like this at any one time, I don't think.
Alpaca 3 Kilo Alpha, Kingston radar. For your cruising, are you able to take 300 or 320?
PJ737 PMDG over Zebra. Again, yeah, if you're wanting to just do procedures FMC, the PMDG is probably better set up for that. What the Zebra has over the NGX is just the dynamics. So if you're wanting to, you know, pitch and power settings, they do work in prepared in the PMDG, but it's very sterile. There's no external input from weather, which is what it's lacking. Whereas X-Plane 11 is phenomenal for that. So when you're streaming like I am and flying crosswind landings, it's far more realistic. Whereas say crosswind landings prepared in the PMTG are rubbish. Like they're just it's so synthetic. It feels it's all on rails basically. Whereas it's a lot more. It's a lot better in this.
5145 heavy radar contact passing 1,800 feet, climbing maintain 14,000. 14,000 ground back to 24,000.
Well, as usual, we were ready to go. It's the fact we're having to wait for so many other people. That's why generally I love going on VATSIM and stuff, but I generally go on events where they have staffed up, they have clearance, they have ground, they have tower. I don't know if there'd be many people here if we weren't streaming. You usually get a little bit of a following with Alpaca Airways guys, which is completely fine. I love it, but it can cause a bit of congestion, especially as we have one ATC controller controlling clearance, ground, taxi, takeoff, tower, approach, and centre. So that poor guy's come online. He's obviously added a huge amount of work for himself.
So it's 1114. Are you able for your cruising to be 300320 as final? Yeah, that's final. Which one is it? 300 or 320?
Kit Market, how far is the Zebo FMC from real life than the PMDG? What the Zebo? Yeah, the Zebo's FMC for basically the normal phases. So routing, performance initialization, departure SIDs, stuff like that. It's fine. It's all there. It's all those additional pages which we very rarely use, to be fair, in the real aircraft, which are lacking. But I'd say that the FMC, the Zebo mod is 85% complete, whereas the NGX I think is pretty much all there, if I remember right. There were a few things that weren't. But...
Hello, Cayman 1745, information Bravo, crossing Cayman.
Mash, you realise the stream isn't the right one to ask? Absolutely no problem at all, Mash. When programmed the FMC in real life, do you ever use company routes? Are they available in sims? We don't use them here, Mash. We have to put the routes in manually in each time. That's what we have to do, but it's not an issue. And what we actually also have in our FMCs, which isn't modelled in the Zebo model, I'm not sure about the PMD GNGX, is something called Route 2. So when you're en route on your first sector, you can actually load the FMC for the next sector in the cruise. So when you land, you could just copy and paste it, or just use something called Route 2. So it's only that first flight that you need to put it all in. As Alexander's just pointed out, yeah, PMD doesn't have Route 2 either. But yeah, I think obviously the PMG is a more complete project. But I was so impressed with X-Plane when I moved over by the dynamics of it. I just moved, honestly, and the aircraft you have available now as well are great.
4737, Alpaca 86 Yankee, followed the Caribbean Airlines, 8320, the Alpha Echo.
Oh my goodness, he's not even started taxiing yet. No. God, Ryder, he's a long way from home.
Alpha Echo,
Oh my days.
Alpaca 860, Alpaca 91 Bravo, fly runway heading winds 285 knots, runway 30, clear to take off.
And the Zebo's free, you got to remember exactly, Michael. That's what's also so great about the mod.
Charlie Mike, after the company Boeing 737 passes from right to left, push and start approve.
Have the company 77 passes from right to left, push and starts approve. Alpaca 2 Charlie Mike. And he's rolling.
Alpaca 5145 10.
Right, so one thing I would have done, which we didn't do in the sim here, was I would have actually put the packs back on here whilst we were waiting for so long to keep the cabin cool, but obviously in a desktop sim you wouldn't feel that. So again, packs off, AP bleeds on, parking brake set, transponders out off, and he's clear. We'll release parking brake. Let's go. Delay ATC, 6 minutes late. He is attached, isn't he? He is.
Cayman 1745, interesting.
What an awesome tug.
Starting pushback, and you may start engine.
Thank you. There he goes.
6000, expect high, which is 0720, Cayman 1745. Cayman 1745, back correct, back runway 30, hold position,
Right.
QNH101.
Let's get the show on the road. Start switch to ground. So unlike the 737NG, you put the fuel in at 20% N2 in the 200, according to the manual.
Ready for IFR clearance to Owen Roberts. Where is your location?
There's 20%. You can hear that thud as the fuel gets in. There goes the oil pressure.
I think it's gate 13 or 14. Yeah,
So start lights, get out.
Alpaca 91 Bravo, radar contact passed in 2300 feet. The 10 we're heading 30.
AGT, N2's in the ring, low pressure lights out. Looking good. Thank you very much, Alex Blockley. Welcome aboard as a member. Glad you enjoying the content. You get invited to our members only Discord as well. Enjoy your custom emojis in chat as well. Thanks a lot, buddy. Right, that's all looking good. Sue is stable, starting now engine number 1. I'll try and catch that bump. So watch this. As soon as I put the fuel in, try and listen to this thud. Listen. There it is. It's very faint. It goes thud. Was it the MD-80 as well? That's the same engine.
Yeah,
Operation complete. Set the parking brake for me, please. Disconnecting too. Stand by.
Outstanding.
that was 2107. Well, you could now can expect follow with 30.
Oh, what are you doing? What is it with ground crew in this goddamn simulator? No! No! You also didn't get this fun in other sims. Right, disconnect. Yeah, that's a slight issue. I'd be concerned.
Expect high with me, squawk 0721.
Tim, absolutely spiffing. He must be thinking that we're Llama International. You know that Llama International Airlines, they never paid a fuel bill. He's just driving up to us, realised we're not paid it.
Tow is disconnected.
Did you hear that? Alright, man.
And signal on the left. We'll see you next time and have a safe flight.
I just want to fly in Jamaica Boer so I could hear this ground controller. Absolutely incredible.
Caribbean Airlines 489 went fly runway heading with 285 last on entry there, quick pick up. Runway heading to
Amazing. Right, he's going to show us the bypass pin. He is looking good. Right. Generators on, APU is off. Start switch is off.
45 minutes, like I said.
Probe. Anti-ice is off.
Yeah, just like shut down engine issues. Give us a few minutes warning to get started up again.
You're shutting down engines. That's all looking good. And set flaps. 1, 2, 5. Flight controls. Full forward. Full back. Left, centre. Oh no! I just realised something. I never aligned the IRS. Full left and full right, so that would be completely screwed up now. It's still in align because it's not an NG. You just leave it in nav and then wait for the alignment to complete. So we have pretty much no INS, but I'm actually going to cheat here. If I move this to off, move it to align, I think what it does, it leaves the same position in. It does. Press that button. And then move that switch to nav. There we go. I've cheated. But if you'd actually done that in real life, yeah, that's it. No INS. Had I been relying on that, and this happened in real life, I'd been like, right, well, I need to realign it, so I'd have to hold position with my parking brake, and yeah, full alignment again. So that would take, I don't know how long was it, 7-8 minutes? Bit of a pain. But yeah, that's just we weren't going to use it anyway, so it's not the end of the world. You see, look, we don't have anything programmed here, but I'm just going to leave it here on track ground speed. Yes, very good use of aerial pilots and report to Chief Pilot in chat. Well done. Alpaca 2 Charlie Mike, request taxi.
Alpaca 2 Charlie Mike, taxi via Alpha Echo and 51830.
Alpha Echo hold point 30, Alpaca 2 Charlie Mike. Right, just write that down. Alpha Echo, runway 30. So we're going to taxi straight ahead, next left onto Echo, and then go from there. Right. Turn off taxi lights on. Needs parking brake. Let's do a quick config check. Make sure there's no takeoff config warning. It's all good, and smoothly reduce that thrust to start taxiing. There we go. Need a bit more N1 than you would in the NG. You wouldn't go over 40% N1 to commence taxi, but for the FlyJSim 200, you need a bit more N1 there to get it rolling. Oh, I just realised it does that. That's pretty cool. How cool is that?
Climb runway heading, clear takeoff runway 30, left hand 238.
Oh, so it is climb runway heading now, isn't it? So we'll set that back to the runway QDM, which was 29 at 8.
Right here, 155% approved.
There's Alpha. Now I have my joystick configured to max braking when you push the when you push the brakes, which is what that clicking is. You can see the parking brakes moving, but it isn't realistic. But That's the way I have my brakes
All
configured in
aircraft,
X-Plane
please
11.
stand by 1 second, please.
Just adjust my view here slightly. That's better. Well, a bit of a queue at the whole point here, unfortunately. We've got Air Sweden, a couple of alpacas, unfortunately. Trying to stay on the taxiway. Look at the nose wheel go. Bring it to a stop there, set the parking brake. Oh yeah, well, a little bit of a delay.
Alpaca 137 into backtrack runway 30. Backtrack runway 30, let's go 137.
Who's so that you, Freckles, shutting the engine down? You don't want to shut the engine down if you're like number 3 or number 4 for departure. You want to be leaving those running. If you've got a delay of in excess of 30 minutes, perhaps.
Information Charlie is now current QNH 1013.
What does QDM actually stand for? Good question. I don't actually know, but just magnetic heading. What are the Q&D reference to? I'm not sure. Colorado, what's the state of the engines? Let's have a look here. The state of the engines we have, they're fair. Okay, we do need our engineer to have a little look at them. Fair is the minimum required. Hopefully no issues. In fact, Discord members who watched me test fly this sector yesterday, we had an engine failure in the FlyJSim 200 and no idea why. It just, one of the engines flamed out. So yeah, you never know what could happen here. Oh, what's going on here? A little bit of a conflict. This is going to be funny, watch. About to taxi into each other. Oh dear, oh dear.
Turn right direct Kimbo, come and maintain
Let's hear what happens here.
Point maintain flight level 320, turn right direct to Kimbo, western 228.
So, he's backtracking. There's no need to backtrack here, you know, it's... You're just wasting everyone's time if you're backtracking. Oh dear. Nightmare. Yeah, I mean, backtrack if you need it, if you're very performance limited, but you've got 2,700 metres, so you're talking 2,600 from here. Jeez.
Alpaca 5145, heading over the ATC Montana come today.
I think for the next sector I might go offline, just because, you know, a lot of people want to see me fly this conventionally. You know, there's no... I'll see. Okay, we're just going to have to accept death. Thanks, Colorado. Hawaii 345, yeah, get Air Sweden.
Get ready to get our plane to
005,
Lars says no surprise, Air Sweden stuck his nose in the wind. Andre, QDM is a weird one actually. Some sources say heading magnetic, but others say magnetic bearing to station. Yeah, I think it's how you're taught and what the reference was, but I was taught, you know, magnetic heading or bearing to the station. I think I've been told both terms, you know. So, but I've always referred to it as magnetic heading to station, as opposed to bearing. But it all has the same meaning.
Position 2107. Alpaca 137, you should be rolling, sir. Cleared you for takeoff. Position 3007, fly runway. Exit, we're running now, so that happens.
Freckles, unbelievable. Holding the show. Anthony, behave yourself. Guys, if you have just tuned into the stream as well, welcome aboard. We are currently trying to get our way to the Cayman Islands from Kingston, Jamaica. Flight time of about an hour. As usual, very busy on the network. I think we are number 3 for departure. There's a little bit of a spat here between Air Sweden and one of my colleagues. And yeah, first of 2 sectors.
Kingston radar. You are clear to the Owen Roberts International Airport via radar vector to Kimbo.
What's going on here, though? One of them's clearly been told to lie.
We're better to Kimbo,
My goodness.
750 squawk, back to Takeoff. Back to Takeoff, feedback, correct, runway 30, QNH 103. QNH 103, to Takeoff. Cayman Islands 1650, enter backtrack runway 30.
There we go.
Backtrack runway 30, Caribbean 1650.
There's...
Alpaca 137, radar contact last in 2000.
So there we go. Fair enough. You hadn't been told to line up and wait yet. Hopefully you won't backtrack.
Terra heading 305, climb maintain 14000, Africa 137.
Chuck, why is there a water level on the ADI? Anything to do with TS, TC? I don't know what those two terms are, but that's just a simple ball and slip indicator. You see it's slightly left here, where it should be centre, unless there's a little bit of a downslope here to the left, but you use that for when you have an engine failure, or to make sure you've got the correct rudder input, as I found out yesterday. Oh! Where'd he go? I don't want to move forward. I won't taxi forward just yet, just in case he comes back onto the network here, but big gap in front of us at the moment. Wilhelm, describe the 732's flying characteristics in 3 words. Well, I can't really. It's very similar to the NG. There we are. I didn't know why it popped off. But what I found with the FlyJSim in pitch sometimes, especially on approach at low speeds, it's a bit of a delayed response, maybe more than I'd expect, but that's only based on the fact that I expect the 200 and NG not to handle too differently. I find sometimes that I'm doing this on the approach if you were to make big inputs, but the aircraft doesn't do anything, especially at low speeds. So, whereas you'd expect the real aircraft to be a bit more responsive. Oh, TS turn slip. I've never heard of that acronym before.
Runway 30, clear for takeoff, fly runway heading.
Tobias, I can't really. That would be the description in 3 words.
Okay, I next time I didn't tell you to push start, so get a hold position for now.
Oh dear, someone's pushed start without clearance. Tom Potter, can you not use brakes on the Cytec rudder pedals? I hate the feeling of it. Just for me personally, for my rudder pedals, I love them, great for rudders, but with your seating position, I find that you're naturally braking. When I first got it, I tried it. I was constantly touching the brakes. Or it's just in the real aircraft, they're a little bit more vertical. So you know, I just don't use it at all.
Maintain 14,000, Caribbean 1650.
Alpaca 137, turn right direct, Kimbo, continue climb, file up a 320. Turn right direct, file 3, Alpaca 137.
Right.
49, are you back?
Oh, we got another backtracker. My goodness, why are you all backtracking? You don't have to backtrack.
Caribbean 49,
He's taking up an extra 22k. Or an extra 2000k. Yeah, I mean, I'm only doing that because I'm impatient, but an airport like this, you'd only use that extra runway length if you needed to. I can tell you an NG fully loaded with 180 plus passengers doing a 3 or 4 hour flight could get off from an intersection here, so no problem.
When ready, descend to cross Marlborough at 240, Alpaca 9 Bravo.
Tom had a fair point, you wouldn't want to flat spot those expensive tyres. Ben Miller, how difficult is the 200 to operate compared to other similar old airlines? It's just like with anything, Ben, if you know what you're sort of doing, which I like to pretend I do, this is very, very similar to the NG, so transfer skills, not an issue really. It's an old NG, is what it is. Whereas say the MD-80 from Rotate, which I've flown before, I find more challenging because it is very different to Boeing, a conventional aircraft, but also some similarities as well. So yeah, I'd find say the MD-80 is not that much older, not much, a bit newer. So because I haven't aligned it properly, look at all this going crazy. Just leave that on heading. So yeah, they're all sort of It's based off your previous knowledge, really. But I've flown Tupolev in the stream, which I've been told is pretty good. Okay, and so yeah, it's all the payware aircraft. I only generally fly high quality or well reviewed payware aircraft or freeware aircraft. Right, we're next. So yeah, I mean, had we not been on VATSIM, we'd honestly be in the descent now into the Cayman Islands. So like, in hindsight, a small little airport like this, it's just to keep the show on the road for you guys more than anything.
Kingston radar, Apache 86 Yankee Apron, passing 1,200.
Apache 86 Yankee, radar contact, I'm in maintain 149.
JBD Bear, can you put the scenery in chat? All you got to do is scroll down slightly, mate, look at the video description, or use the command exclamation mark scenery.
Apache 2 Charlie Mike enter backtrack runway 30.
Enter backtrack line from runway 30, Alpaca 2 Charlie Mike. We're able for the intersection.
Okay, that's great then. I'll put this. Actually, line up away.
Yeah, line up away, Alpaca 2 Charlie Mike. I've just realised I've not done any takeoff briefing. Wonderful. So because we've been chat there so long, let's just get the aircraft configured for on the runway.
50.
Thank you very much to
30,
Dominic for your donation
20,
there.
10.
Let's get ourselves lined up here first.
Happy Thanksgiving, Captain.
Of course.
Lucy and I are now members of Alpaca Airways.
Amazing. Thank you very much, Dominic Orsini, for your $5 there. And of course, happy Thanksgiving to you as well. Excuse me to all my US followers. I have not even mentioned the fact it's coming to Thanksgiving this weekend. It's obviously we don't celebrate here in the UK. But happy Thanksgiving to you, and especially to you, Dominic, as well, for your donation. And to Lucy.
3280 in the ground.
Right. Little takeoff briefing then.
Apache 86 Yankee 10 right direction.
So flaps are where we want them, 5 green lights, stab trim as well set. We did a config check. Packs are on, bleeds are on, the V speeds are set on the ASI. Our departure then, it's going to be vectors. He's going to say maintain runway heading, and eventually we're going to fly our way to Kembo, climbing up to an altitude of 6,000 feet, NADP2 accelerating at 1,000 feet, and then making sure we're ready for departure. So the MCP is set, transponder is set to TARA, our strobe lights are on, just waiting for our takeoff mirrors.
Apache 2 Charlie Mike, I remember you had the request if the guy came out for procedural.
Say it again now, Alpaca 2 Charlie Mike. What did he say, guys?
A procedural approach for the VOR for running 08.
Oh, I can do whatever you wish, Alpaca 2 Charlie Mike. Very flexible.
Alright, so if you fly runway heading, wind 3007 knots, runway 30, clear for takeoff.
Runway 30, cleared for takeoff, Alpaca 2 Charlie Mike. Excellent, so cleared for takeoff, guys. Get your togas in chat, even though we don't have an auto throttle or toga. Let's head on our way for the first ever time to the Cayman Islands. So let's stand those thrust levers up. Get to stabilise at 50%. Parking brakes released. What was our takeoff power setting? 2.12 EPR, so here we go. And there we are, 2.12. Takeoff thrust set indications normal. Light forward pressure on the control column. Checked. Release that forward pressure. We go. 2 to 2.5 degrees per second. Bit fast there. And we're airborne. Keep pushing up through that dead band. Up to around 20 degrees. Maintain 160 knots. Positive climb. Oops, I've clicked off the gears coming up. Excellent. Right, there's 1,000 feet, so we'll imagine we're bugging up, so I'm just going to lower that nose to around 10 degrees to accelerate. We'll select flaps 1 now. So there's flaps up, and we'll accelerate to 250 knots. Just maintain. And he said maintain runway heading and then get vectors to Kembo. So still trimming nose down as we accelerate to stay in trim. I need to trim nose down, and there comes 250 knots. Oops, I need climb thrust here. And also just reducing the thrust value. There's 250 knots. And let's get that autopilot in. Command, indicated airspeed, heading select. There we are. We'll do the after takeoff checklist. I maintain flight level 14000 direct to Kembo, Alpaca 2 Charlie Mike. So what we need to do direct to Kembo, we can't really do that. So what we're going to do is sort of intercept that radial 306, if you remember, 306. And then I'm just going to take a slight right heading. It's not technically direct to Kembo, we're taking the 306 radial to Kembo, but that's the only way we can navigate at the moment. So that's set, and as soon as that HSI is aligned, we'll engage forelock, and then we will definitely be routing direct to Kembo. That's it, so add to takeoff checklist, gears off, verify all the brake is off, start switches, we'll move that to off. Retracts off, taxi light off, so air conditioning and pressurisation, diff pressures 2.0 climbing, cabs climbing, auto, switches in, and that's set, and remember we're climbing to an altitude, so we've got the QNH 1014 set, passing 5,700 for altitude 14,000, and that's it after takeoff checklist is complete. Now maintain 250 knots. There's the VOR line, so what we're going to do is engage VOR lock. There we are. No, not that one, sorry. That's the autopilot VOR lock. That's engaged. And we're now flying inbound to Kembo. How do we know we're in Kembo? We don't have an FMC. Well, the DME look at 37 miles. When this says 37, we're directly at Kembo. And then we'll talk about en route navigation from that point onwards. Clock, yes, there's no elapsed timer on this aircraft, not much I can do, so I just had to make a note of the takeoff time. At ETA we should be there in around, well, there's no delay, say about 45-50 minutes. And there we are. This is quite useful, at least I'm getting track information and speed information. And this is all Ortho 4XP, guys. Looks really nice. Zoom level 17. Right, there's 10,000 for 14,000 feet. We can now accelerate to 280 knots. We'll use our climb speed today. There we go. The aircraft will now pitch down to maintain that speed. Do the pre-cruise checks. Climb maintain flight level 300, Alpaca 2 Charlie Mike. So 300 set and set standard, so 1013. 1013 and 1013. Let's just finish those checks. So fuel, we've got 4 pumps and we're burning, we have 7, so just over 14,000 pounds of fuel remaining. Lights going off. APU's off. Pressurization 4.0 set. Release the passengers and recall. There we are. Checks complete. What's our cruise flight level? That's it. Flight level 300 today. Just a very short sector. AT's very quiet actually. Just turn across that way.
14,010 right direct Kimbo on course.
Right direct Kimbo climb 14,000 Alpaca 2 Kilo Alpha.
Turn that sound down slightly, so hopefully you'll hear the music. There we go. Perfect. So, what's going to happen next? Well, I'm cheating. I've got the airplane icon. So from Kembo, we have a look here at our operational flight plan. We're going to route direct to Sia, which is the VOR over Montego Bay, the airport there, which we actually completed that flight, the Cessna 172 in Microsoft Flight Simulator not so long ago. So there we are, Narlo, which is where we're routing to, and then we're going to go direct to Grand Cayman 15.6. So we'll put that on standby on the captain's side, but we'll make it the active frequency on box 2. That should pick it up shortly, just a little bit low, I think. Now that's very unusual, because I've just checked the chart here, because it worked yesterday. It says 15.6 on the flight plan, but the actual charted frequency is 15.7. So I don't know if that's a little issue with SimBrief. There we go, 15.7. So I've got the Navigraph charts available, you see, and that's saying 15.7, so no idea why that says 15.6 unless there's a separate beacon there. Anyway, we're waiting for that to tick over to... Kembo, so 37 miles, we're at 35, okay, so 36, we're literally just before Kembo now, just to show you, there you go, look, and what I'm going to do now is switch over to heading select briefly, and we'll switch over to
114 Lana Point, runway 30.
2, Nav 1, make that active, let's line up the course, we're lined up, back to VOR lock. VOR lock, there we are. So we're now inbound to the Sangster VOR. Yeah, Sangston's 15.7. But on my on the flight plan here, it says 15.6.
91 Bravo cleared going pre-arrival as published VOR DME approach runway 08. Descent to the minimum published altitude.
Very short cruise as well, guys. Very quick short cruise.
Cleared the go run pre-arrival and the VOR DME run.
Now, if we have ATC here, it might start advancing. If not, I might log off, and that's nothing against the guys there. It's just because I want to demo a particular approach.
Terminated, remain on this frequency.
Actually, you know what? This controller's online for the whole sector.
Radar service terminated, will remain on this frequency. Thanks a lot.
It's like a little gongo line.
Western 238 descends across Nalro, flight level 240. Cross Nalro, flight level 240.
Either way, there's only VOR approaches available, so it'll be a non-precision approach regardless.
2,000 feet, climb and maintain 14,000, turn right direct Kimbo. Climb maintain 14,000, direct Kimbo, INSA 501.
So we're going to be flying a go around 3. Essentially just takes us direct to the Grand Cayman VOR. And then eventually we'll be flying VOR approach DME for runway 08, which is here. Which has a 45 180 procedural turn, which is very unusual. Don't fly those often. I'll try and demo that today. Mark, please draw your attention. What do you F900X work remotely out of the Cayman Islands, making a real debate going on here. 2 tons of love royalty-free reggae on disposal. I did actually think about that for the intro music. There's quite a few bits available online. Martin Massini's here. Good evening, folks. Good evening to you.
Southwest 114, fly runway heading.
Wilhelm Glazer, how long is the first leg? An hour from what's been airborne, so how long have we been airborne now? For about 7-8 minutes. So another 50 minutes to go approximately.
American 2446, depart Inari on heading 195, expect radar vectors for the Isles DME approach.
And there is Montego Bay, and we did that flight, remember, in Microsoft Flight Simulator only about a couple of weeks ago, from Kingston to Montego Bay. It took about an hour in a Cessna. There is Montego Bay, and there's the runway.
That was 2107 before intersection departure Echo.
Choose one 727 or the 737-200 to the 200. They're both fantastic aircraft. They're FlyJSim.
Cabos for a non-cleared current 3 arrival VOR, demarcation just cleared for the current 3 arrival. And
That's on board at capture 15.6 and the next VOR 15.7 is the current one for your inbound.
Owen Roberts International Airport is 1015.
Was I misreading the chart, perhaps?
Unit 1015 are cleared for the go around 3 arrival.
Oh my goodness, I did. Ah, that's why. I was just misreading it. Yeah. 99% of the time, it'll be something I've done wrong. Why? I think it's because I just presumed. I think I might have read that as Gudel was a Narlo. And I was thinking Nauro, sorry, was my first waypoint. So yeah, you're completely correct. We're up here, look. There's Sangster. 15.7. Next VOR, you're quite right, 15.6 Grand Cayman. I was thinking Grand Cayman and Montego Bay, I was getting them too muddled. So, I'll put 15.6 on, active on box 2. Which obviously we're out of range here.
501, climate maintain flight level 300.
Perfect. So now I know the chart's actually correct. We need to take a look here at our initial track after Sangster. So at the moment we're pretty much on the 305 or 304. Next outbound track is going to be this one, 2901. And the airway we're capturing is the Uniform Goal 633, and that's exactly what it says on Navigraph. The initial airway track is 291. So coming up to that, 6 miles. Let's get rid of this.
Southwest 1114, climate maintain 14,000.
This course is 291, and we're going to use the same VOR outbound. So when we get to around 2 miles away, we'll initiate that turn to kind of cut the corner slightly, and then we'll fly to intercept that course. So we're heading about 294 should do us. And if I look slightly below the aircraft, you should see. There we are, right over the VOR now. So what I'll do. Where the cone of confusion now is go to heading select. Pretty much directly over here. So you can see, look at the needle swing, woof, right over the top of the VOR. There's the needle swing. I need to get the tail of that needle now onto 2901.
Clear takeoff, runway 30, runway heading southwest.
So a little bit overshot that slightly, but not by much. We're so close to VOR still. Not taking any wind into account here either. Let's go Vorlock, back to Vorlock, there we are. So we're now on the outbound 291 radial from Sangster VOR. C4INS is on, yes, we're not using it though, but I will on the next sector. I will program some waypoints for you there, even though we're still route conventionally.
5 minutes and that's in trouble, but we will continue our taxi. Abaca 137, cross Nauru.
I need some reggae, we do.
Cross Nauru.
Have you ever been to the Grand Cayman in real life before? I haven't, Haydenwood.
Okay.
So slow climb here. As soon as you get to flight level 300, it'll be soon our time to start descent. We actually need a little bit more climb for us, only about 92%. Just going to have a bit of power here.
Tower 2107, radar contact passing 1,700 feet. Climate maintain 14,000, radar cable.
Added to left by case of Red Stripe back in Jamaica. Yes, we're famous for that beer from Jamaica.
My apologies, followed the Whiskey 8. Whiskey 8 for...
no, Cruz, how many feet are you? We're currently passing 25,500 feet, climbing up to 30,000 feet.
With a 238 cleared going 3 arrival, descend and maintain 12,000. QNH is 1015. 1015 and clear the Goran 3 arrival, runway.
SM737 pilot, the water looks like liquid glass and pure white sand. Imagine it's beautiful there.
So maintain 12,000, that way, that 23.
So what we'll do, we can carry on in this direction here. We have the VOR for Grand Cayman on standby tune, 15.6, so as soon as that gets in range you'll see this needle swing over. It should be on the reciprocal track. We're on here, so it'll be all matched up, and then what we'll do, see what AT wants. Very likely you'd get some sort of vectors here. If there was no ATC available, you'd fly one of two approaches here. You either go right over the top of the beacon, and then you'd fly a DME arc turn onto the VOR approach runway 07, like this. Or, sorry, runway 08, or there's a teardrop turn, which I don't think they'd fly that, because it doesn't really react well with aircraft coming in other directions, but we haven't actually done a teardrop procedure turn like this, so, well, not what you call this a teardrop, they call it a 45 180 turn.
Alpha 901 Bravo, 28,
see what the traffic situation is.
TOR, passing 130.
Okay, 901 Bravo, thank you. Report 15 DME from Golf Charlie Mike.
Report 15 from
yeah, when that VOR comes up, we'll purely base our descent off that. So remember, we're climbing up to 30,000 feet. So when we're 90 miles away, that should be roughly right. But don't forget, we need to land on the reciprocal runway. So that's probably going to add an additional 10, maybe 15 track miles. So 90 miles away, probably a little bit too far. I'd probably actually take off about 15 miles for the DME here. So when it says 75 miles, that's probably a good point to initiate descent for sort of a continuous descent there. So when we get 75 miles on DME2, that's when we'll initiate our descent. So all I've done there is 30,000 feet times 3 is 90. That's 90 miles, but then we're coming in from the east. We're going to be flying over the beacon on some sort of delay vectors approach, so we'll add take 15 miles off that distance to 75 miles. I hope that makes sense, anyway. And it's simple, it's honestly, it's not some sort of massive complex maths equation, it's just 3 times stable, and simply for every additional track mile you think you need to fly, you know, add that into the equation. Slowing down as well. Jake's Aviation, they never really do the VR approach to Grand Cayman. It's always vectors for the visual. I should think that's completely correct, Jake. Yeah, beautiful weather, and we might request that. Well, I'm planning on doing that into Key West later anyway. So whatever ATC needs to cater, vectors for the visual will probably be most likely, or we could vector for the VOR. But yeah, that wouldn't surprise me. Noah Greaves, how much longer? Is very patient. About 45 minutes, I'd say. Check, so approaching 1 to go. We're going to maintain decimal 74 in the cruise as well. It's looking quite good.
Alpaca 901 Bravo, 15 DME from Golf Charlie Mike, passing 9,000 feet.
So someone's very close to Grand Cayman, 15 miles away. Mark Solomon, I know it's crazy, but we are COVID-free on Solomon Islands. I think you are, probably. With very little travel and being so remote. In the UK here, they've just announced we're coming out of lockdown a week yesterday, so in 6 days' time. But then we have several tiers available. Pretty much all of the country, 85-90% of the country, is still in the highest
50,
region. So we're not going to be able to do much anyway.
20,
Shops
10.
are open at least. Oh dear. Thanks a lot, Agree 002 for the £2. Hey, Captain, hope all is well. We'll be watching with curiosity how that old tank of yours will behave when dealing with a very short runway in Key West. Yeah, forget butter, that's for sure. Best regards to all, especially Chief Captain Jack. Thank you very much, Ikri 002. Yes, Grand Cayman Islands, short enough runway at 1900 metres, but doable. Key West, 1500 metres. It's pushing our luck in this aircraft, and I'm planning to take the same amount of passengers as well, so I'm going to use flat 40. Yeah, no butter, I can guarantee it. It's very unstable in pitch here. Right, remember, no auto throttle. We've just levelled off here, so I need to reduce that thrust, otherwise the aircraft will just carry on accelerating to decimal, whatever MMO here is, big decimal 80, so we're just going to bring that thrust back to maintain decimal 74. But you've got to keep your eye on it, otherwise it can easily accelerate or decelerate. Right, looking good. Is someone taking off a runway 26? I hope not.
Cayman 005 at a contact.
Our runway isn't open yet in the Cayman Islands.
Turn right,
Hopefully it's open in the sim. Right, there you go. Look, DME's just picked up now for Grand Cayman. So remember that figure, 75 miles. 75 miles. So we haven't got long to go, about 70, 80 miles. So let's have a little chat about the approach here.
Paca 137, correct, current arrival. Maintain 12,000.
So he's been cleared on the Goran 3, which is very likely what we're going to be cleared on to. So the Goran 3, we're going to be routing in via, I think it's Nauru.
You get the arrival at December 12,000, sorry, and the radar service is terminated to radio frequency at Paca 137. Paca 137, correct, Goran 3 arrival.
It could be really interesting with no vectors. Everyone's going to be doing whatever approach they want into Grand Cayman. It's going to
50,
be right.
40, 30, 20, 10.
So we'll go over the VOR. I just wanted to find out what the arrival was. Give me 2 seconds, buddy. Sorry about this. Yeah, so it is via Nauru. Thank you very much to Icefire. Thanks for the $2 land with parking brake. Stopping distance is great. Thanks a lot, Icefire. You're doing well. And we're still having your fantastic livery. Look, everyone, Icefire, one of my old members, made this livery for us. So fantastic. And I hope you're doing well, buddy, regardless. And we'll make sure the parking brake's set.
Are you flying the arrival?
Alright, that's a procedure, Alpaca 91 Bravo. I'm heading for 260.
I think he's fine. See, this is the problem here. With no direct control here, some people are probably self-positioning, some people are probably flying the teardrop, some people are probably flying the DME arc onto the approach, some people might be doing a visual, so it's going to be a little bit uncoordinated. Yeah, as I said, we'll see what happens when we get a bit closer. So yeah, arrival then, coming in via Nauru. We're routing pretty much on that.
I see what you do. You find the procedural turn inbound. Report when you're turning final.
So you're going to be on the 288 inbound once we get to Nauru, which is going to be 68 DME away. So when we're 68, I'll just tidy up the course to make sure we're exactly on the 288 course, because we're on the 291 outbound from Sangster at the moment, as opposed to going inbound to Grand Cayman on 15.6. So yeah, there's 2 approaches available. What I'm planning on doing is, once we get to Grand Cayman VOR, is flying this procedural approach. So we'll fly outbound 260 until we're 4 DME, and then at 4 DME we start the timer. We'll follow Panzop's procedure, which says for a procedural turn, start the timer at the start of the turn, and then for a Cat C aircraft, which is what we are on the 200, we'll fly outbound on a track of 215 for a minute, 180 degree turn on a heading of 035. And then we're going to intercept the 260 radial inbound to Grand Cayman. And then once we're back round, we'll intercept the 260 radial inbound, so 080 QDM straight in, maintain 1500 feet until 4 miles, and then we'll descend at a 3-degree path down to the minimums, which is 710. So what we can at least do here is set 700 feet on the radio altimeter. Technically it's not a DA, it's an MDA, but with no terrain that should be flashing the MDA lights at the correct height for us. So that's it. RVR we need is 2,400 meters. So yeah, that's it really. I don't think I've ever demonstrated a procedural approach like this. What I'm going to do now is actually go over to Grand Cayman VOR now, and then that's it. We don't need to set up anything else in this approach. We'll set the courses a little bit later when we're actually outbound from Grand Cayman. I'll align this to 080, and we'll just use the RMI to make sure we're aligned. And yeah, 15.6 now. There we are. And for that arrival, we want to be on the... we're still very far out from Nauru, so technically what I'm doing is a bit naughty. I'm actually cutting the corner essentially, and then going to Vorlock, because what I'm doing here, I'm already flying outbound into this exact radial, but our routing at the moment is taking us to Nauru, so we're kind of cutting out Nauru slightly, or outbound from Nauru. It's not going to make much difference. But yeah, that means I don't have to touch anything, apart from when we initiate our descent at 75 miles away. Right, I hope that all sort of makes sense. Whether this is going to work, getting into Grand Cayman with all the traffic, around? I don't know, because looking around, there's someone directly behind me at 32,000 feet. So I'll do a little flyby so you can see that. So here's us.
Great. Alpaca 127
And there's traffic, look, exactly behind us at 2,000 feet. So he'll need to start seriously slowing down.
Cayman 49, we're just hitting the Los Angeles VOR.
Yeah.
Roger. Cayman 49, what's the altitude? 6,000 feet, descending 3,500.
Go around, sounds like you go around. Yeah, it isn't the best name, is it? Nathan Atkinson, 737-200, A firm. Boz, how's the new mouse? Yes, I should probably put this in my video description. I bought myself the new mouse, so I have to thank a lot of the guys obviously donate stuff, because I have a little side kitty which I invest back into the channel basically. So all the airports we're flying into today, 2 of them are payware scenery, True Earth. I get that for free to be fair from Opex, but I did purchase a Logitech mouse in the Black Friday sale, usually £130, costs 70. It's the G903. Oh my goodness, it's incredible, it's beautiful, it feels great, there's no hesitation or delay. I love it. Very impressed with this Logitech G903. Had you asked me last week, I would have said what a waste of money, but I think seriously, if you're really into, especially if you're going to be gaming a lot, not that this is gaming, but it does make a huge difference compared to the Tesco mouse. What on earth was that?
Just confirm for heading, please. Was it 340 or 040?
I don't know if you guys heard that. It sounded like someone was strangling a cat. James AP, I would hope so for 70 quid. It's usually 130. £130. I wouldn't have bought it full price, that's for sure. How's my latency today? I definitely selected the correct latency, low latency, but just the, maybe a bit of a delay. 8.4 seconds is my latency. Logitech G903, yes, that is my mouse. Cool, so another 25 miles on top of descent. I hope that sort of made sense. It's a very quick briefing, to be fair. Performance we need to discuss, to be fair. Descend, maintain flight level 240, Alpaca 2 Charlie Mike. Now that's really early for us, okay, so what we're going to do is set 240, okay, I'll then select indicated airspeed, but I'm just going to take a little bit of thrust back, not a huge amount, and just maintain around 1,000 feet per minute, okay, and then we'll recalculate our descent points based off 24,000 feet shortly, because I just want to see if we get further descent there. And we're going to maintain 280 knots in the descent as well. So, yeah, throws your calculation out the window, but just do a nice gentle descent as you would usually. So I've just brought the M1 back to around, what's that, 80, 75, 80%? Top of descent, chat. Unfortunately, I think this is one of the charts where it doesn't display the aircraft, but if you want to know where Nauru is, you can see here 68 miles between the VOR and Nauru, so the DME taking slight range into account when it says 68. For all intents and purposes, you're overhead Nauru. Ah yes, we were discussing landing performance, weren't we? I'm just going to take a bit more thrust off here.
American 786 Kingston radar squawk 6721.
There we are. So, another problem here, which we've not taken into account, is you've got to backtrack, unless you can make Delta, which I'm going to plan to. If I can make Delta the first exit here, great, otherwise you're going to have to do a 180 backtrack or go to the end here. So Delta 2,100 metres, yeah, it's very short to be fair. That's going to be pushing 1,300 metres. I don't want to use flat 40 if we're going to avoid it, because it's very hard at this aircraft to fly. I'm going to go flat 30, but I'm going to use auto brake max and obviously full bucket. What's going on here? Take the next left here at Delta, if we can.
Caribbean 165.
Jeez, so loud. Next left at Delta, or 180 backtrack to vacated Delta. That's going to be...
Caribbean 1650, mic check. Reach you 5, sir. Clear out.
I think everyone could reach you 5.
13,000.
Slow down as well. See, his RT is very fast. It's nice and slow. And 80 can fully understand you and other people. Flap 30 then, 129. Set bugs, there we go. So what I'm going to use as my up speed is the same as the NG. It's probably incorrect, but add 70 knots to this. So 199, 200 knots. Split 200 knots for the clean speed.
You can hold at your discretion. Sure, hold at the narrow at our discretion.
Holding? Oh no, someone said hold at narrow. Well, I'm pretty much overhead narrow. So yeah, 288, 68 miles, 69. We're directly overhead narrow right now. There's narrow.
At 7 MKJP 31 miles for the VOR, which lock us to go next topical position. Papa 2 Charlie Mike, clear to go on the arrival, clear for the go on the arrival, doesn't maintain 14000.
Cleared on the ground 3 to maintain 14000. Alpaca 2 Charlie Mike.
Alpaca 137, continue on the crew.
So there we are, 14000 set. We just need to set the QNH, which you forgot to tell us.
Alpaca 2 Charlie Mike.
Let's have a look here. So 1015 is the QNH. So 1015 is set. 1015 and 1015. There we are. So remember, we're taking 15 miles off this, so 60. We've got about 55 miles. Times up by 3 is 15. Maybe a little bit too high in here. Yeah, I'm actually really high. I've not been paying attention. Let's go down. It's idle. So sorry, I went the wrong way. So 6, 12, 18 plus 15 miles. So that's going to be another 4,000 feet on top of 18. So 22,000 feet, and we're at 26. So about 4,000 feet high here. Martin, I've landed on a 1,280 foot runway. Do you mean meters, Martin? 1,280 feet. That is short, but yeah, I mean technically, if you go flat 40, I mean you can stop an NG in 600-700 meters if it was empty. If you tried. Meters. Yeah, I thought so. Yeah, 1,200 meters, doable. That's doable, albeit you cook the brakes. Feet is impressive.
A-firm, and I followed it as far as it's going to give me up in position. Alpaca 137 here, but it's going to hold that going as published.
So someone's holding it.
Go around. Get vectors to go in, that's where no convection after completion. Can I give you, you are in a non-radar airspace? Okay, I'll follow the chart then after completion.
Yeah, if you want to go direct to go around, go on the 260 outbound, and then at 10 miles, there you are. That's it, go around there. So there's 2 approaches available. If you're expecting holding, probably want to do that. Look, outbound 288, 15 DME up, hold it, go around. And then 260 or the procedural turn. But there's the holding it, go around as well.
From Narrow to Bodak.
Evening, Captain, say Ross Keating, good evening to you.
Appreciate it very much. And
Ambient Cayman, just no caps required. Only lowercase is completely acceptable.
Got it.
Aaron Boss does Mariana fly. She's cabin crew, but she's getting good at FlyJSim. She's flown the Zebra Bot before.
Leading flight level 300.
Boca today, negative.
What's that? 228, descend 1,500, clear VOR, DME approach, runway 08. Descend 1,500, clear VOR.
Oh, a bit cloudy here.
Alpaca 137, descend and maintain 3,000. Descend maintain 3,000, Alpaca 137.
But can't see anything at the moment. Scenery, by the way.
Okay, 86 Yankee.
For the Grand Cayman Islands is from runway 26 simulations. In the sale right now, it is only €6. So about, what's that, £5? It's not a huge airport, but it does look very good, and it's sitting on the ortho, looks great. It's got to be Boga at Key West and Simon Taylor. You're joking. 1,500 metres. It's going to be so hard in the touchdown zone. It's going to skew all my landing rates. From Tobias, one of the members who records them all. No, have you landed at Exeter Airport? Yes, in a light aircraft from many, many years ago. Peter Richardson maybe had some issues with Alfie Oak when it was cancelled. Referring to something else. Is Centre also controlling tower? Yeah, I think so, Pete Rich. Well, he's can't give vectors. He's being very realistic because there's no radar available here. So he's just basically saying to guys, yeah, off you go, clear the procedural approach. Report on final, I think, or something like that. Listening out. Tobias, no short runways, please. It's not going to be good today, Tobias. The month of November is going to be ruined. Dominic, is Mary on board today? She's around. She's in the lounge at the moment. Pottering.
Approaching top of the sun. What would you like us to do after Mattis? Alpaca 2 Charlie Mike, reduce the minimum clean speed.
Minimum clean speed, Alpaca 2 Charlie Mike. Uh-oh. So 200 knots, remember? That was our minimum clean. So we're 30 miles away. So ideally, if we're coming straight in, we'd be at 9,000 feet. You're going to add another 15 trap miles, so 4,500 feet on top of that. So we're probably okay. But so there sounds like there's all sorts of delays going on later. Could be making it a little bit more fun. Thanks, Matthew Tunstall. He's loving the stream. Keep it up. I'm trying. Well, I'll try to keep it down. The aircraft, not up. Hey, should have become a comedian.
Alpaca 3 Kilo Alpha, clear VOR, give me a progression quick go on to arrival runway 08, descend and maintain 12, question 14,000, QNH 1015.
Cleared go on 3 arrival.
That's our Boga. Thanks, Andy.
4,000 feet, QNH 1015, Alpaca 3 Kilo Alpha.
Alpaca 137, exit the hold, cleared.
Jeremy Lemmerod, we have to manually hold in this aircraft, we will.
To maintain 1,500 until established. Exit the hold at Thorin, and then cleared ILS DME runway 28, 1,500.
ILS DME runway 28? Where's he landing?
5 miles north of the Manley VOR. Descend and maintain 15,000, QNH is 1014.
Peter Walsh, hi Captain, hope you're marrying well. What is the shortest runway you completed either real or sim? Real life, Peter Walsh, I won't discuss because it'll give away clues. But very short, Peter Walsh, we're talking less than 1,700-1,800 metres. In the sim, we've landed at Santos Dumont, which is also one of the shortest runways the 737NG in real life is certified to land on. I think the landing distance there is just 1,300 metres. But yeah, there's frequent flights into Santos Dumont by the NG. Return leg, P Jaguar 737. Nope, we're going to be doing a second sector, but northbound to Key West, Florida. Aaron Borson, how does ATC? How does the ATC component work with flight sims? If I'm a complete noob to it all, but do you have to join certain lobbies? Excellent question, Aaron Borson. Type in Google VATSIM or IVEO. They're two different networks. I use the VATSIM network. I don't think IVEO is bad. I've just never used it. And that's a little plug-in client which allows or simulates real-life ATC. Dominic, goodbye for now. I'm off to Autumn Ridge Farm to feed and water 11 rescue draft horses. Wow, Dominic. Well, thank you very much for popping in. Thank you very much for your donation as well. Enjoyed the rest of your Thanksgiving, buddy. Right. So, counting down the distance from the Cayman Islands here. So we need to sort of give him a bit of a hint here as to what he'd like us to do. Can we go straight into the procedural approach? If so, I'm going to be very high. Or can we expect to fly the DME arc to go around? Which will be likely if we're going to be holding. But yeah, to fly the procedural approach directly, we're extremely high. Which I completely miscalculated the top 7.4. We'd be about 6,000 feet high. Kingston, radar Alpaca 2 Charlie Mike, can we expect holding?
Descend and maintain 8,000, please.
Said maintain 8,000 Alpaca to Charlie Mike. Right, well, we're super high then. A speed brake coming out. I'm not going to be too high to fly this particular approach. 4 miles, it's probably another 2 miles, plus 2, so it's 8. 16, 16. Yeah, we're about 4,000 feet high here.
Actually, Alpaca 2 Charlie Mike, the altitude.
Alpaca 2 Charlie Mike, we're passing 15,400 for altitude, 8,000 feet. We're a bit high for the procedural teardrop turn, but I can fly the DME arc or hold. It's up to you.
Yeah, you are going to be too high for the approach. Hold that go on that publish.
Hold it, go around Alpaca 2 Charlie Mike. So yeah, in hindsight, because I was kind of anticipating a bit of a delay, because aircraft were holding everywhere, I just kind of like went a little bit more shallow, because I was expecting to either have to go all the way there. So what I'm going to do is there's 2 ways of doing this. It'll be quite interesting because you'd need ATC for confirmation with this. Does he want us to fly here 15 miles? I think what I'll do is this, because it'd be quite cool to demonstrate the DME arc. We'll go outbound 288 until 15 miles. We'll then fly the DME arc, which is 15-mile arc, on to the hold at go. So that'll be, we'll do it that way, which will be quite cool. Thank you very much, Adam McDowell, for the membership. Welcome aboard, glad you enjoyed the content. You'll get invited to our members only Discord as well during custom rosy chats for this approach. Welcome. So yeah, that was a little bit, I was not paying attention there. I think our initial top of descent point I calculated would have worked had we had a continued descent at 280 knots. Because I've shallowed or brought the speed right back, that means we're going to be a little bit higher. I could have made it, to be fair. I could have made this approach had I really, gone 180 knots, flap 10. We would have made it in. But I think it'll be more fun to do this anyway. Right, 4 miles to go. What I'm going to do now is go heading select. We'll leave the course at 288. And then we're going to fly outbound. Sorry, not 15-mile DME arc here, so 15 miles. And, yeah, let's see what happens. I hope it all sort of makes sense what we're doing here anyway.
Kingston, Cayman Islands,
Cayman regularly does the DME approach using the 288 out to join the hold back in. Okay. What should I do, guys, quickly? Do you want me to do... Oh, no, it is the 288. Yeah, that's what we're doing. Sorry, I thought you meant the 260. But yeah, this would be the most sort of realistic approach if it wasn't visual. So we'll go outbound 288, 15 DME arc, and then hold it, go around 280 inbound. So we're going outbound now. There we go. Watch the needle swing.
Sorry, Takeoff calling, go ahead.
You'll get a tail of that needle on 288. What's the wind doing here, actually? 103 at 12, okay. So hardly any winds. A slight tailwind there. Right, let's go over back to Vorlock. And we're now waiting for 15 miles. So we're going to do a DME arc using the RMI. And we're descending down to 8,000 feet. How many aircraft are holding there? Descend maintain 6,000, Alpaca 2 Charlie Mike. Just for information, we're outbound 288. We're going to again take the 15 DME arc to hold at go around. Probably doesn't really care, but at least I told him. There you are. We'll just keep it going down at 210 knots, nice and gently.
Sorry, I cannot understand what you're saying.
There's poor ATC guys come on here, so we have to take on a lot of traffic here. Yeah, oh wow, there's quite a few aircraft. Well, no, there's 2 on the approach here, we might not have to hold.
I cannot defend you at that, just continue holding.
There we are. So what we're doing here, we're outbound for this approach. Obviously, unfortunately, this doesn't really depict on the chart here the approach we're flying, unfortunately. But we're all here. We're going to go hold and go around very shortly. Top tip for you then. If you take What's the figure of this?
You're gonna have to hold that narrow. You're just
Yeah, take 1% of your indicated airspeed or your ground speed, so in this case 2. That's how many miles away before entering the DME arc turn you want to start your turn. So it's a 15 DME arc. This is just a rough rule of thumb I remember from my IR. If we start the turn at 13 miles, by the time we've established on this arc here, we should be roughly on 15 miles. So you take 1% of your true airspeed. Well, actually, do we have true airspeed in here? 200. I think we do somewhere. I can't remember where the gauge is though. But it's fine, we've got a 10 knot wind. It'll be completely okay. Aaron Possum wants more Among Us. Mariana will be great. Mariana, did you hear that? She might be asleep. And Aaron Possum will be doing some more videos together. We're actually, well, I'm not going to say anything at the moment. We may be launching a second thing soon. But let's concentrate on this flight. Oh, Amy, you're Amy parent to the rescue. Thank you very much. You have ground speed. You're quite right. There you go, 240. Well, yeah, so take 2.5 miles. Well, anyway, there's 13.
50.
Let's start that turn.
30.
No, a bit late here.
10.
Heading select. Thank you very much to whoever that is. Worst possible time.
Just a small token to say thank you for the streams.
Oh, you're most welcome.
7 years after creating my FlyJSim account, I finally flew my first flight online this week.
Oh, awesome.
Your streams give me the confidence to jump in, and in hindsight I don't know why I was worried. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Adam McDowell, for your very generous £10 donation. It's very, very kind of you, and I'm so happy that my streams and tutorials have built your confidence to fly on the network there. So congratulations to you. Well done achieving your first sector. And thank you very much, Adam McDowell. We'll listen out for you in an Alpaca Airways aircraft very soon. Right, so I'm sort of massively multitasking here. I'm trying to set the course for the final approach, 080 here, and also trying to fly DME. So 15 miles, that's worked fine. So I'll show you exactly where we are, guys. We're here now, and I just want to keep that RMI at 90 degrees until we hit the tail of this on 268. Once the tail is on 268, we can initiate that turn onto final here. So we're doing the twist turn 10 degree technique, so just turning every 10 degrees here. So maintain 3,000 feet, Alpaca 2 Charlie Mike. So 3,000 feet set. And then once we get on the tail of this on 268, the RMI will come in here to turn final. So we're just pushing that head round now. Just going to maintain wings level here for a short while. And that's pretty much 268, so I reckon we turn now to turn final. There you go, you see the HSI coming in, that's worked out beautifully. And remember, we're still holding it go around there, so if I go over to the other chart here, there you go, you can see how it's worked. That's cheating though, so we're going to hold it. So all we've got to wait now is for 10 DME. Once we're at 10 DME, we're approaching 3,000 feet. At 10 DME we're going to start a right turn, and we're going to do 1 minute legs. So Ross Keating, are we in a hold? No, we're just completed the... We're about to be, though, buddy. We've just started this DME turn here, and we're waiting now for 10 miles, and then we're going to be holding it go around. So we'll see how accurate we were. I think I've still got it, guys. I'm really happy with that. And I fully appreciate here, especially if you're inexperienced with flight and instrument flying rules, a lot of what I'm saying might sound like gibberty, gobbly rubbish. That's a new word I've invented. But for those of you in a bit more in the know-how might understand what I'm saying, but I try my hardest to make it as clear as possible or as simple as possible. But if it's not, or anything's confused you, leave a comment in the video description afterwards. Ask it in chat. You know, I'm here to answer these sort of questions. So we were definitely too high for a straight in, 10 miles, 5,000 feet, so going once around the hold won't be a bad thing. There's 10 miles, so there we are. Round we go. And it's great fun doing this. I really enjoy flying old school aircraft like this. Alpaca 2 Charlie Mike entering the hold at go around, descending to 3,000 feet.
Thank you.
So stab trim this is a FlyJSim thing. I mean, this is a non-normal situation in the NG. We have a checklist for this, but I find at lower speeds you get the stab out of trim light, even though it's well within limits. It's a little bit, it does trim a little bit too frequently. I think it should be a bit more stable. But, overall, it's okay. Right, I'm going to turn this flight director off because we're not using it.
Alpaca 2, Charlie Mike, that's for your information, you're number 2.
Alpaca 2, Charlie Mike. And round we go.
Alpaca, trickle out for your number 3.
So there's no RMI here we can really use for holding, because we're not holding at the beacon, so pretty much when we're wings level I'll start the timer. Well, when we have one, so what we'll do, we'll make a note of the time, and then once we're wings level we'll just fly a minute. That's fine, you know, for aviation. We're not looking for extreme accuracy. On your instrument rating, that's a different matter. They're looking for exact holding, but we're not going to worry about that. Right, I'd say we're a beam there, so we'll start the timer. So at 5 seconds past, 20 minutes past, we'll make our right turn inbound. It's approaching 3,000 feet. Right, a bit of thrust here.
We'll call you 15 from Bodak, it's 501.
Just so we're just pretty much descending very slowly here. We just got to make sure when we level off that we add thrust. There's no auto throttle here.
Apologies, was that 8,000 or 6,000?
Fuel situation, we've got just under 12,000 pounds, so we're okay for fuel. Oh my goodness, we're so busy, look, we didn't do the post-cruise checks. Fuel, we've got 4 pumps, we just confirmed we have just under 12,000 pounds. Lights coming on, APUs off, pressurization 1.5 diff set, seat belts. Forgot to turn those on, imagine the cabin secure. There we are, recall, checks complete. Where were you guys in chat? Jim! Amy, FO reminded you landing lights. Jim wasn't here. Right, oops, there we go, there's a minute, so let's now turn inbound again.
16,000 direct Golf Charlie Mike, Southwest 2107.
Oops. So what I will do after landing, I'm going to use that little map feature in the iOS to see how we flew that approach. I don't like to do it in flight because I had a sim crash from it, but remind me after we've landed, check the iOS map in X-Plane so we can actually monitor our flight there. And what I'm going to do for the next sector, guys, just because there's no ATC, and I know there's a lot of guys that like to join me on flights, but I'm going to probably go offline because I want to demonstrate a visual approach, which is a little bit more difficult with so many aircraft joining us on the flight. I know that's not what some of you want to hear and stuff, but without ATC, it's been a little bit... ATC, don't get me wrong, it's been brilliant, but a lot of the traffic around here... Well, let me know in chat. Let me know in chat what you'd like to see. It's kind of sort of been realistic with the holding and stuff.
Hold that mobile set as published.
But I was kind of hoping to show you the teardrop procedure here. So there we are. We're nicely inbound again on that radial. And then all that happens is either if we're cleared approach, we'll head straight outbound from Goran. And then we'll descend to 1,500 feet until 4.3 Jimmy, and then we'll initiate our descent. But likely, I think, to go around the hold again. I'm not sure where we are. Just remember, look, no auto throttle, so my speed's just creeping up there. I want to get back to 200 knots. Yes to ATC, ATC, yes, off network. Yes, ATC. 50-50 so far. So when we get to 12 miles, I'll just actually confirm, can we expect to hold again. I think generally, yeah, Tobias, I think a poll would be a good idea. Excuse me, I was having a little sip. Alpaca 2 Charlie Mike, can we expect to go around again? Speed's just getting a bit low. Kingston radar, Alpaca 2 Charlie Mike.
Alpaca 2 Charlie Mike, descent to 1,500 feet.
Descent 1,500 feet. Are we cleared approach or going around the hold again?
Negative. Due to the backtracking and quite close to the other aircraft in the head, you have to continue to hold.
Continue holding Alpaca 2 Charlie Mike. Around we go again. So it did clear its descent to 1,500. That's actually a good point. What's the minimum holding altitude here? Well, firstly, there's 10 miles. Let's go around again, guys.
6,000 feet, so 501.
Also, something I've not taken into account here is the drift. I've not even looked at the wind. Well, I've just been flying the heading as the track, so we're probably not holding it as accurately as we should be. But the wind is pretty much non-existent. Oh, actually no, 077 at 22 knots, so, well, it's pretty much straight on the nose there, 080, that's the best wind ever. When your wind matches the QDM you need to fly, you don't have to apply any drift correction, so fantastic. Yeah, Corolla Beach. Yeah, that's not the sort of stuff that we want to discuss here. If you want to discuss stuff like that, go to a relevant forum. I think most guys here want to chat about flight sim, aviation, and instrument flying. So, yes, well done to Sip. Right, good comment. Oh, was that for me? I think that might have been. Sorry, Alpaca 2 Charlie Mike. Can you say again? Oh, I think that might be someone else. Locked.
Charlie Mike.
There we go.
Cleared via exit the hold. Cleared via RDME approach runway 08.
Exit hold cleared via RDME approach runway 08. Alpaca 2 Charlie Mike. So we can exit the hold. So there's two ways to do this. You either can fly the full published hold, but what I'm going to do is turn that heading now. Let's go and intercept that heading right away.
Yes, sir. We are now 10 miles
So we'll set a nice little intercept heading for that VOR approach. We're going to start our descent to 1500 feet now as well. There we are. Going to select flaps to 1. Select IS hold, so we'll slowly descend that speed. Actually, we'll bring the speed back to 180. And off we go. Let's turn the music off there.
1,015 miles for Southwest 2107.
So speed's slowly coming back to 180. Going to go flap 5 now. And there comes the course. So we're sort of cutting the corner here at the holds. Instead of going all the way back here, we're just going to cut the corner. Oops. Sorry, just going to speed Alpaca 2 Charlie Mike. I'm being rubbish today.
180 till 6.
180 till 6, Alpaca 2 Charlie Mike. A little bit fast, but we'll take it. Vorlock, there we go. Vorlock's engaged. And yeah, we can go now down to 1500 feet, so I'll just bring that speed a little bit back. Not so worried about a CDA in an aircraft like this. He wants 180 till 6, we've bugged 180, and the aircraft will now start descending to 1,500 feet. Just to show you where we are. There we are, now intercepted on the approach there. And from GORAN, actually a little bit before that, but after 10 miles, look, you can be down at 1,500 feet. We're at 12, so that's fine. And we maintain 1,500 feet until 4.3 DME. Match the runway heading. Yeah, so what I'll do, guys, I'll poll it. I'll have a quick break on the turnaround there. So once we've landed, I'll let you watch the replay of the landing. I'll then switch you to the Be Right Back screen. I'm not going to shut the sim down today. And I'll quickly put a poll up for you guys to ask. 80 yes, 80 no. I'll stay on the network there. But one of the problems here is I think there's only 5 stands as well. So it could be potentially an issue. Oh, is Active Sky going to throw me an IMC? It's doing that thing where everything gets a bit darker. It's a bit low, obviously, but we don't worry about that so much. We'll give him 180 knots until...
Just want to maintain 1,500 feet, Alpaca Trick North.
Ooh, crikey, speed. Oh my goodness, speed! So obviously we're very low because we're maintaining 1,500 feet as per the procedure until 4 miles. The aircraft's levelled off a little bit early. I was hoping to do a bit of more of a CDA there, but not to worry. So there's 1,500 feet. Just to show you where we are, and we need to maintain that until 4 miles.
6 miles from Golf Charlie Mike, level at 8,000.
So in the NG you could be a bit more sophisticated. You could have made a continuous descent out of this. But workload in this is high enough, especially single pilot. Right, there's 180, and he wants that till 6. As soon as we pass that, I'm going to slow down to 160 knots.
Who's calling?
And the missed approach altitude as well, very low. Climb straight ahead to 1,500 feet, then a right turn to go around. So pretty much coming up to 6 miles now. I'm going to reduce the speed to 160.
Alpaca 2 Kilo Alpha, exit the hold, cleared VORDME approach, runway 08. 6 Soul, cleared VORDME, Alpaca 3 Kilo Alpha.
I'm gonna disconnect and fly this anyway.
Maintain 3000.
So just waiting to 4 miles now.
3000, so 501.
Missed approach altitude 1500. Maybe flap 10. So again, 4.3, there's 5. There's no decimal DME here, so pretty tricky.
Southwest 2107, just confirming that you want us to fly the 15 mile arc at 8000.
There's 160. Guys, I'm going to disconnect now. Okay. So autopilot's off, and now we'll start descending on that 3-degree path. And I'll start configuring as well. Gear down, flat 15, and let's just go bring the speed back. Landing checks the flaps, so start switches. Oh, so hard. Why did I should have done this first. Oops, wrong way. Start switches continuous. A bit high now. Recall checked, speed brake. Oh my god, this is so hard. Single pilot. Arm green lights. Landing gear down 3 green. Let's go flat 30. A bit late with that. And we'll bring that speed back to 130. Just waiting for landing clearance now. Runway 08 cleared to land, Alpaca 2 Charlie Mike. So flaps, we've got 30 green light. Lights are on. There we go. 1, 2. Flipping volume control. Continue. Right, speed's okay. A little bit left of centre line. Maintaining 130 knots. Remember, no auto throttle here. 3 whites, so I'm going to immediately make that correction now to around just under 1,000 feet per minute. Where's that MDA like? Damn it, went blank. There we are, back on profile. And we'll see if we can make the first exit of ATC. Probably struggling. Right, a bit high on speed here. 138, should be doing around 135. Right, speed's back into control, so keep scanning, keep looking at instruments, primarily looking outside now. 135 knots is there. Speed's good, thrust is good. So a bit more thrust there so the speed doesn't deteriorate any further. Keep looking there, in trim, tad high. So just making very small corrections. There we are, back on the profile, so just reset that attitude. Keep making trim adjustments as well. Oops, a bit high again. There we are, keep it descending now. Oh, speed's a bit high again. Check. Close. Oh, it's floating a little bit. Hold the attitude. Not bad. Minus 143. Right, buckets are up. Speed brakes up. Reverses. Let's add that thrust nice and smoothly. Manual braking. Oh, I'm going to miss that exit for him now, but I'm going to backtrack anyway. So 100 knots, 80 knots. There we are, braking really firmly, 60 knots. Yeah, that's too ambitious there to make that exit. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Cayman Islands. Lovely.
Alpaca 2 Charlie Mike, backtrack on 826, no delay, vacate via Delta.
Backtrack expeditiously, vacated Delta, Alpaca 2 Charlie Mike. I don't think I've ever used the term expeditiously before. Right, full left on the tiller. Need to get off this runway. Oh, I don't think there's any vacant stands, unfortunately. And there is Delta. Perfect. Oops. Now, the reason I've done that is because my flaps I just put up and I had too much thrust there. And there's Delta. We made it. Well, I hope that was a nice demonstration anyway of the DME arc and needle approach. I'm very happy with how that went. Look at that. Don't get a butter, and all of a sudden I get emojis. It was a great landing, it said. Alpaca 2 Charlie Mike, runway vacated. Well, where am I going to park? There's one stand available here, look.
Thank you.
Perfect.
Alpaca 3 Kilo Alpha wind 07013 now.
So he's done a great job. He's prioritised getting that guy landing clearance before telling me what stand to taxi on. But I think his workload anyway is off the scale today. Thanks a lot to said controller for the ATC. APU's coming on the way. We'll take stand 6. There's no one here. And there's only a few remote stands available. We'll just imagine we've got clearance there. Wonderful.
For the approach, we'll go direct Stacer, cell 501.
Yes. So runway 26 simulations provide this scenery. €6 I think it costs, or something like that. Bit off the centre line here. We learnt yesterday that his guidance isn't always the best. The guy at the Cayman Islands. Waiting for those crossed arms. There we are. He's told us to stop. So parking brake is set. Just waiting for that APU to fire up. Probes should be off. Strobes should be off as well. Weather radar system can come off as well, which is just here. Come on, APU. There we are. APU is available on the bus. 2 blues, 1 red. Edges are dead. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Cayman Islands. There we are. Here the engine's spooling down already. There we are. Had it all turned down for the approach there. Well, that was a thoroughly enjoyable sector. Very nice and a perfect one to demonstrate conventional navigation. And well done everyone on VATSIM. I think that was done very well with a lot of traffic everywhere. Obviously caused a bit of a delay, but it was a great way to show you how to hold manually at an airport like this where there's no RNAV based approaches. It's done conventionally, which is really, really cool. Some reggae, please. Yeah, I don't have any reggae music available that's royalty free. I should have thought about that first. Look at you guys in chat. So used to butters, but it wasn't that bad at all. Mark Simon says, welcome to my home. 900 says, thank you. No problem. Thank you, Greg Cayman. Excellent. Well, pretty much looked at all the comments here. What I'm going to do then is jump back into the cockpit. Don't forget this stream hasn't quite finished. I'm going to take a quick break and get the aircraft set up for the next sector. Now, depending on what the poll says, I'll set up a poll in the break very quickly. I only have 5 minutes to answer. Do you want me to stay on VATSIM? Let me know. If you want me to continue offline, let me know as well. Very likely, anyway, when I log off, someone might pop on this stand anyway, because there's only a few stands available here. But yeah, you can see, look, there's a colleague's just landed here. Not much runway available. You've got to make this first exit, but that's way too short. I think he's going to make it anyway, so top marks to him. But we did our best anyway. Right, let's turn this music down. There we go. And let's now cue the funky music for the little replay here. There we go. If I can remember how to do this. There we are. Oh my goodness, that is extremely loud. Let me just turn that down slightly. There we are. So, let's have a look at this nice approach and landing. There we are. So yeah, nice, easy VR approach, to be fair. Weather's very much in our favour as well. Wind was straight down the runway. I don't think it's going to look quite as bad from this view. Oh yeah, love the sounds of this aircraft. Daniel F needs to say I'm Boeing-y. That's the term I'd say. I'm very Boeing. There we are. So it was a very gentle check. I checked a bit too high as well. Ah, come on. You guys are way too harsh. I got buckets bumping open as well. Sim Toolkit Pro there. That was an outrageously good landing. Let's have a look from this angle. I think that's pretty much spot on. There's the buckets coming up as well. Almost near centre. Fakes real things. I'll try harder next time. There you go. Let's do one more from the tower and then I'll let you enjoy the fantastic window view with the buckets as you taxi on the stand. Love this airline, it's so cool. There we are. Alright guys, well, I'm going to pop you back into the cockpit of the aircraft. Actually no, sorry, not the cockpit, this window view here, so you can enjoy this beautiful approach into the Cayman Islands. Once it's vacated, I'll throw you back to the BRI back screen. Just give me then 5 minutes to get everything set up for the next sector. I won't be shutting the sim down, and I'll quickly poll if you'd like me to stay on FlyJSim as well. I'll set up in the background. So yeah, guys, let's enjoy the replay, and I'll see you all in about 5 or 10 minutes. Thanks.
165, the back correct precise inspection, cover ready for taxi, QNH 1014.
Hey guys, thank you very much for that break. Join the jazzy saxophone music. All set up, back for the next sector. Well, I say set up, I've not touched the aircraft except lower the air stairs and open the door for a little bit of immersion. Just about to commence boarding for our second sector from to Key West from the Grand Cayman Islands. Flight time around the same, maybe a little bit longer. I had a quick look at this poll, which I'll just refresh it here one more time, and you're all saying, stay on VATSIM, 65%, so we will. You guys are in charge. We'll see what happens then. More to keep the show on the road, but your wish is my command. And yeah, we log back onto the network. We're now Alpaca 5 Kilo Echo for Key West here. You see an aircraft just pushing back here, but very congested on stand. Thank you to everyone that kept mine vacant. There is one available now, actually, next to me. But yeah, runway 26 simulations. €6 on the sale at the moment. This add-on here, lovely airport. Obviously not a huge one, but yeah, €6 for a Payo airport. You can't really complain too much about that. But yeah. Jim's doing the walk around for me. I've never let him fly a single sector. But all GL packs in the 200s all ready to go. Fantastic aircraft this is. There we are. Let's jump on into the flight deck. Any chance of switching on the Bermuda Triangle random failure on? Well, we had an engine failure yesterday, completely randomly. I have random failures on. Engine conditions are fair. Oh my gosh, airframe, part number 2, like new. I replaced the airframe at some point. I can't remember when, genuinely. On the second airframe, though. Very funny. Right. Anyway, let's turn this music down here. And we'll turn up the old music in the simulator. There we are. So let's get the show on the road. So transit setup here. We'll leave the APU running and on the bus providing electrical power here. Let's get the weather. I'm not sure if we have any ATIS or anything like that available here. We don't. We only had the... Oh, we do have Grand Cayman ATIS. It's like someone's updating it for us as we go along here. So 132.35 available now. I'm just going to detune the active frequency there so we can hear the ATIS. Let's have a little listen in.
Advise receiving information alpha.
There we go. So information alpha.
For charts and information, visit kingston.batc r.org.
Is that might be
Grand Cayman.
Ah, it's Grand Cayman.
Owen Roberts International Airport information alpha. At time 1800 Zulu. Runway 08 in use. Yo round 3 arrival in use wind 070 degrees. 13 knots visibility 10 kilometers. Clouds. Broken 1800 feet temperature 282.23. QNH 1014. On first contact with Cayman approach or Kingston radar. Advise receiving information alpha. For charts and information, visit kingston.batc
That's cool.
r.org.
I guarantee that's not the real ATIS, but really nice that the controllers linked more information for charts for you to accurately fly. That's really, really nice of them. So information alpha we've copied. Wind down the runway 070 at 13 knots pretty much. QNH 1014. Still a lovely, pleasant 28 degrees Celsius. So on that note, we'd actually stick the APU bleed on to enjoy that lovely conditioned air from the APU. Put the isolation valve open, so both packs provide the conditioned air. So QNH 1014 we can now set once, twice, and here comes the first officers as well. That's all set. Let's have a little look here at the airport information and all the applicable charts. So we are on stand number 6 here. We are going to use INS for this sector. In fact, I don't think I need to because there is some conventional navigation, but just to demonstrate how INS navigation works anyway. And I did turn it off on the turnaround during the break there, just so we can do a full setup with it. It won't take long because there's hardly any waypoints to load. I think it's just our coordinates and 4 waypoints we're going to be loading into this thing, so it won't take long at all. So we'd usually be loading up the FMC here. So let's move that to standby. Initially, rotate to position. Okay, so I think, even though I've had it off for ages, I did this during testing, it still has my latest position in here anyway, but we're going to update that manually. So we're on stand 6, 5 through 8. It's north 19, 17, 17, west 081, 21, 4. Now I haven't put this in, it just shows you how accurate INS is. I told its initial position in Kingston, where we are, and it's worked out we're exactly here on this stand based off a completely self-contained system. And remember, this is what, 50, 60 years old, incredible with this technology. when they made this, it was groundbreaking here. Now I don't need to put that in here, so what I'm going to do is, once I put the position in, is move that switch to align. It still needs to align, but to keep the show on the road, I'm going to do a quick alignment by pushing this. This isn't true to the real aircraft, but you can do a high-speed alignment. There we go. The aircraft and INS is completely aligned in nav here, and all we're going to do here is put in the waypoints we're going to program here from our sector here. So if I go to charts, OFP, I have it printed out in front of me as well, which makes my life a little bit easier. Here's the second sector. We're going to load up the fuel very shortly. I'll just get the FMC loaded. Now, can you remember we did a 2-sector day in the 200 before and I forgot to put fuel in the aircraft? Please scream at me in chat if I forget to do it, because we might not have enough to get to Key West. So let's go to our first program waypoint, which is Rickle. On the SID. The SID terminates at Rickle, so there we are. It's look at that, north, exactly on 20 degrees north. So I'm just going to put 2, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, insert, and then west, 0, 8, 1, 0, 2, 7, so 0, 8, 1, 0, 2, 7, insert. Oh, you plonker, I forgot to rotate that to, damn it. I just forgot to rotate that to number 1, so all I've done there is update our present position incorrectly there. Say again, Mariner. Oh, it's still saying we'll be right back. Oh no, professional streamer here. Oh my goodness me. We'll be right back. Yeah, very good, Freckles, well spotted. Yeah, thanks David, and anyone else there? Thanks Tom.
Discord's going crazy.
Discord's going crazy, great, fantastic. 10 out of 10, well done. FlyJSim, you were absolute. And not only that, I just screwed up the INS as well. So back to the start. So I just Control Alt Delete. Just go for another break. Oh no. Coming back to the word plonker, we're having fun. Unbelievable, listen to it. Right, let me start again. Right, position. Thankfully, it seems to have kept that as it is. So I just want to double check that is correct. Stands 5 through 8, north 19, 77, west 081, 21, 4. Well done. Let's now go to waypoint. I don't think it should be saying that. I think waypoint 0 I need to reprogram as my present position. Yeah, I hope this doesn't crash the sim or anything stupid, but let's do that anyway. North 19, 17, 7, insert. West 0, 8, 1, 20, 1, 4, insert. Right, and then waypoint number 1, it should be the first en route waypoint, and we can do a gross error check against that anyway, because waypoint 0 is your present position, your coordinates, and now at waypoint 1 I put in Rickle as our first waypoint here, so it should work fine. North 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, insert. West 81, 0, 2, 7, insert. Waypoint number 2 is going to be the Cavo Largo VOR, which is here, north 2136.3. And if the INS doesn't work, it's not too bad, because the routing is conventional routing still via VOR anyway, which is just fortunate. West 8132.0. Insert. There we are. So waypoint number 2 is in. We still have waypoint number 1, 2, 3. Waypoint number 3 is the Havana VOR, which is right over the top of the airport. I think Havana's International Airport. So that's going to be north 2258.7. Insert. And then west 82256. 256. That is inserted. Last waypoint then is going to be the Fishhook NDB, which is right over the station pretty much at Key West. But I'm going to be flying a visual approach today anyway. So Fishhook, it's just to stick something into the INS to follow initially, but I'll probably use the NDB or VOR as we get closer. So waypoint number 4, north 2432.9.
50, 40,
insert, and just before
20,
I forget, let's put this
10.
waypoint in, west, 8147.2. 081 47.2 insert. Right, that's all in. Who was that? Freckles. Thank you very much for your information. If you update waypoint 0, it won't update en route like I had the other day. Okay, so if you update waypoint 0, it won't update en route. Alright. Well, I think it should work now, Freckles, because it's the same information I'd input anyway. And if I go to distance, 45 miles till we get to Rickle, and obviously that's based on our present position, and it's saying here distance 51, so I think that's obviously total distance based off the SID, which I think makes sense. So if I go to airport, SID here, departures, Rickle 2. There we are. I reckon if you were to add and tally that distance up here, it'd be around 51 miles. So I'm pretty confident the INS is programmed correctly the way I've done it. So I won't, thanks to your advice, but no thanks, I guess. But I'm not sure what you're actually stating, but I'll leave it as it is. And if it doesn't work, obviously there's something wrong. But I'm pretty confident 51 miles, it's 46 as the crow flies, because we're going in that direction, then that direction, that'll probably add to 51. But yeah, we'll see what happens after departure. If not, I'll have to route to Rickle conventionally, which I'm planning on doing anyway. So we've got the Grand Cayman VOR tune 15.6, and then we're going to be intercepting the 027 radial 46 DME, will be overhead Rickle, so we'll stick in 027 for the courses. Yeah, you just won't be able to go direct to any waypoints. Okay, I got you, Freckles. Understood. We'll just have to, if we can still route conventionally, which is okay, but I guess if you go route 0 to 1, it might not work, but I don't know. 15.6, 15.6, runway QDM was runway 080, so 080 set. What an awesome departure this is. So I'm going to climb, maintain 250 knots, so I'm going to book 250 here. I'm going to fly this as NADP1. The reason is I want to maintain our climb speed. And essentially what we're going to do is climb a runway heading until we get to 500 feet. As soon as we're at 500 feet, immediate left turn, and we're going on a heading to intercept the 027 outbound to Rickle. And that's the Gulf, or for us upper Gulf 877 airway. And we'll climb to 8,000 feet on that departure. So we'll stick in 8,100 here until we get our clearance. That's it. Just need to do our performance for departure. Fuel, there we go, I remembered. So charts, first page here for sector number 2. We need a minimum of 5.6. Let's take an extra 30 minutes again on top of that, in case for ATC or it gets busier there. So 1,200 kilos is going to be about 30 minutes. It burns a little bit more fuel than the NG because they're inefficient and we're so light as well. So it's going to be 6.8 tons of fuel. We'll just keep the payload the same as well. So the same amount of passengers, 6.8 tons coming up. They are 6.8 tons loaded, and that should give us an additional 30 minutes to hold before we divert to our alternate, which is Miami International. James Warren's here, he's a good friend of mine. He's going, you. Hello to you, buddy. And Key West ATC's online, outstanding. There we go. Right, so let's just do a quick panel scan up here. Yaw damper's on, fuel's set, AP's on the bus, seatbelt sign is on, window heat's on. All looking good up here. We've got air conditioned air coming into the cabin, keeping it nice and cool. Position lights on, MCP's set. We've already briefed the SID. Flaps are up, gears up, INS is loaded. Stab trim, yes, it's just set takeoff performance here, so flap 5, set bugs, same as before, 29, 30, 36, so V1, rotate, and I'll climb up at around 155 knots, I'll make a big note of that actually, because that's going to be our climb speed till 3,000 feet, which is V2 plus 20, and then we'll bug up. So that is all set bugs, trim, 4.81 units, boom, that's all set. Now, time to grab our clearance and then we'll get the pushback organised. So, what was the clearance here? We've still got centre online. Actually, we've got Grand Cayman approach online, 120.2. that's active. Mike Whiskey Charlie Romeo, approach 120.2. Let's see if approach can get us clearance to Key West. Greg Cayman approach, very good afternoon. Alpaca 5 Kilo Echo stand 6 Greg Cayman, and covered information Alpha QNH 1014 departure clearance to Key West, please.
Alpaca 5 Kilo Echo Cayman approach, you're clear to the Key West Airport via the right tail 2 departure, flight planned route. Initial climb, flight level 240, squawk 3155.
Cleared to Key West, Rickle 2 departure, climb flight level 240, squawk 3155, Alpaca 5 Kilo Echo.
Alpaca 5 Kilo Echo, read back is correct, call and ready for push and start.
That will go, Alpaca 5 Kilo Echo. Great, well, I bet a lot of people that voted to say off that's it, but now we actually have an approach separate frequency. It's going to make life a lot easier. So, oops, I forgot to put that to standby, and squawk was 3155. And he said flight level 240, so we'll set that up here. That's also correct.
Approach American 1500 IM4.
And we've already briefed the Rickle 2 departure. There we are, 500 feet direct to Rickle, and then on we'll carry on route. So we'll keep the airport chart up, and we've got the AP started, so let's get the better pushback now.
Flight through Havana needs to be an even level. I can give you 340 or 360. Which one do you prefer?
So used to do it in the Zebo body of B.
We prefer 320. American 1500.
Oh god, look how busy it is on this little apron here.
American 1500.
So pushback most likely to face in this direction here.
Climb, flight level 240. Squawk.
Look at that magic there, but good of him to move stands.
Ground to cockpit. Plan acknowledged.
Oh yeah, man! Guys, he's still here. Our reggae loving pushback guy. I love it when he says it disconnects. Just listen out for when he disconnects later. So funny.
Ground to cockpit. Tow is driving off.
1500.
So this one we will need to backtrack, so that is going to delay departure slightly. Because, yeah, no way we could take off from the intersection here, unfortunately. We'll crest push start.
Echo Oscar Whiskey, airport time 06. Next report 10 miles south of Reichel, or flight level 240, whichever comes first.
The next report 10 miles south.
Chris, what are you talking about? Bread, I think. Mariana, my partner, who's a moderator and also helps us run the Discord, she's been baking a lot of bread, and they did a baking competition or something. It's pretty cool.
Punch on a forward liner, if you're ready to push and start now, is approved. We're almost ready, punch on a forward liner. Roger, call when you're ready for push and start. Roger.
Okay, all doors and hatches are
5
closed.
Kilo Echo stand 6 request push and start.
Alpaca 5 Kilo Echo, push and start is approved, face west.
Push start approved, face west, Alpaca 5 Kilo Echo. That was good timing. So, packs off. Anti-collision lights on. Parking brake is set, transponded to out off. Got a lot of people join us to Key West. So as soon as he's ready, we can release the parking brake. Hopefully get ahead of the rush. No bleed takeoff. No, it should be long enough, full length. But from the intersection, impossible, even with bleeds off. It's about 1,300 metres.
Doors connected and bypass been inserted. Release the parking brake for me, please.
I will, man.
Starting pushback, and you may start engine.
Oh, did I close the stairs? Thank goodness it does it automatically, because I completely forgot. Right, starting on engine number 2.
Your readback is correct. Give me a call when you're ready for push and start.
Head 2. Well, pressure's not rising, so it wouldn't in reality start the engine, but maybe it's a little bit different in the 200. Yeah, it's rising now then.
Okay, 122.8, Western 239, good day, you're doing a great job.
Marcel the captain, the whole plane smells like garlic now. I'm a bit behind. Mariana was saying something, but I couldn't hear. Right, looks like we've got a good start on engine number 2 anyway. Let's now start engine number 1. So engine stabilizers, look at that, 35% N1 is such a high N1. N2, N1. Oh, again, it's not increasing that quickly. Lovely sounds. Right, as soon as that engine's stabilised, we'll put the AP on the bus so we can, you know, so we don't block anyone here and do the flow as well.
Operation complete. Set the parking brake for me, please.
Fucking brake set.
Disconnecting to. Stand by.
Cool, generators on, AP off, and again, I would delay these next steps until we see the bypass clear, but I just want to keep the show on the road here. Flaps 5. Flight controls. Listen out for this ground controller. Here comes the rudders. Here we go, ready. Recall, we're ready to taxi. Wait for it. Oh, I think I have to wait until it's completely disconnected. We're all ready to taxi, that's great. Just need the clearance.
Alright, man. So is disconnected and bypass pin has been removed.
Love it.
And signal on the right. We'll see you next time and have a safe flight.
Yeah, man. Perfect. I don't know if that's official terminology, but we'll let him off. Right, anyway, he's away. And we'll let him show the bypass. I'm just going to request taxi. All these guys are waiting for me to taxi here. I'll back 5 Kilo Echo request taxi.
Alpaca 5 Kilo Echo taxi via Charlie, holding point runway 08.
Taxi holding point Charlie, runway 08, Alpaca 5 Kilo Echo. Right, parking brake is released. Clear left.
And Caribbean 6050, ready for taxi.
Clear right. Config check. There we are, no takeoff config warning, and we're on our way to Key West.
Stand by for taxi.
And there's Hold Point Charlie, so not far to go.
Alpaca 4 Kilo November, Roger, stand by, clearance on request.
So we've got a... What airline is this? Don Basero, never even heard of them.
Approach good day, Alpaca 4 Kilo Alpha, request 5 clearance to Key West, information Bravo.
300 and 320.
So there's our Hold Point Charlie, we can't cross there until we got clearance to backtrack.
$50, $40, $30, $20, $10.
Backtrack, line up away, runway 08, Alpaca 5 Kilo Echo. So, just put the strobes on. Thank you very much, whoever that is, sir. Just going to get the aircraft configured to line up the runway here. So that's set. Weather radar on as well. Oh my god, how do I turn this? I can't see where I'm going. Thank you very much. Who was that? Marcel Aristatu. Sorry if I've completely mispronounced that. Thank you very much for your donation there. Thanks for the things I've thanks for all the things I've learned from you. You're most welcome, Marcel. Thank you very much for your generosity there. Glad you enjoyed the video and you're finding it educational for your home flight sim experience. Right, let me just get the weather radar. We'll do the before takeoff checklist. There we go. So before takeoff checklist config, we checked flaps. We have 5 with a green light. Stab trim is set for departure. It's around 4.8 units set. Takeoff briefing. Packs are on and bleeds are on. V speeds set for departure. I think it was around 131. Around that for VR and V1, and then V2 was at 130 knots, but we're going to fly around 155, which is V2 plus 20 for departure. Climb straight ahead to 500 feet, then we're going to make an immediate left turn to intercept the 027, inbound to Rickle, stop climb is flight level 240. So that's it, set before takeoff checklist complete. And MCP set transponder to
Approach hello, Alpha
TARA.
Kilo,
Strobe lights are on, just waiting for a
information
takeoff
Bravo,
clearance. Look
request
at
Alpha
that,
clearance.
nice and efficient.
Key West.
Stand by, clearance on request.
Yes.
I'll advise them we're ready. Once I soon get the aircraft pointing in roughly the right direction. I'm back at 5 Kilo Echo, ready for departure.
Alpha 5 Kilo Echo, Roger, break. TBM Echo Oscar Whiskey, state your passing altitude.
There we are. That was very efficient.
Alpha 5 Kilo Echo, clear for takeoff, runway 085, the right tail to departure. Winds are 060 degrees at 14. Stop your climb at 16,000.
Runway 08 cleared for takeoff, Rickle to departure, and stop climb flight level 180, Alpaca 5 Kilo Echo.
Alpha 5 Kilo Echo, that was 16,000.
So, sorry, 16,000 Alpaca 5 Kilo Echo. Oops, right, anyway,
And the last aircraft that called for
slight change to the clearance then. Same departure, this time we're climbing to 16,000 feet. Guys, Toga's in chat, remember 500 feet immediate left turn to insert the radio is going to be really, really cool.
Alpha 3 Kilo
Let's go.
For your cruising altitude for your direction of flight needs to be even. I could give you 380 or 360. Which one do you prefer?
There we are, engines are all stabilised, and set takeoff thrust.
Alpha 3 Kilo Alpha cleared to the Key West Airport. Fly the right tail to departure. Flight plan.
2.12, there we are. Takeoff thrust set, indications normal, light forward pressure.
3161.
Clear to Key West Airport. Right
Checked, release that forward pressure.
Ground, climb flight level 240 and squawk 3161 Alpha to the Kilo.
Right rudder coming in here to maintain centre lines. Up we go. 2 to 2.5 degrees. And we're airborne. Positive rate of climb gears coming up. We're going to maintain around 155 knots. Wait for 500 feet. Right, there's 500 feet left turn. Going a bit fast here. 25 degrees angle of bank. 25 is in between these two little lines here. They're 10-degree increments. Pitching up a little bit steep there. We should be doing around 155. That was a bit alarming. And get ourselves an intercept heading for this radial. Now we are back on our target speed. And trim. Into the soup, so I'm purely relying on instruments now. I'm just going to maintain that attitude to maintain 155 knots. Go wings level now. It's a good intercept heading for us. Waiting for 3,000 feet and then we'll accelerate. Okay, that's climb thrust. There's the... waiting for the HSI to come alive here. And we'll bug up now, so I'm going to lower that nose to around 10 degrees to accelerate. Let's go to flaps 1.
Alpha 5 Kilo Echo, continue climb flight level 240.
Continue climb flight level 240, Alpaca 5 Kilo Echo. So I'm now flaps up, just making a slight right turn here to intercept the radial. Trimming nose down because I want to accelerate to 250 knots. There we are. Don't need the NTIs on, it's lovely and warm outside. I overshot that radial slightly. This is not as easy as it looks. That heading should do us nicely. Keep trimming nose down. Match that heading. Sorry, Alpaca 5 Kilo Echo. Can you say that again?
Alpaca 5 Kilo Echo, report 10 miles from Reichel or flight level 240, whichever comes first.
Report 10 miles from Reichel or flight level 240, Alpaca 5 Kilo Echo. Oh, this is so hard because I'm still hand flying and I'm doing 280 knots now. Oh my god. So there's me fiddling with the volume in the background. I'll let my speaker come to 280. It's because it's impossible to hand fly a 737-200, respond to ATC when it's not clear enough at all. So I'm trying to turn the volumes up in the background. So there you go, there's 250 coming in for all those are critical there. So he said report at 240, but I've only cleared to 16,000, so it's going to probably be the latter. Sorry, the first, not the latter there. There we are, back to 250 for all of the People there. Oh dear, that was tough. That is really tough. I could barely hear the controller, so I had to whack in the whack down the volume here in the sim and turn it up in X-Pilot. I can assure you that is something pilot flying does not have to worry about. Oh, look at me, that there, because my speed's going down. So he did clear me to 240. Okay, I'll double check that, David. And he said also report 10 DME from Rickle. So when we're at 36 DME from Rickle, we'll advise ATC. So, Land Pursuit, that's correct. Oh my god, what's that guy doing? He just clear himself for departure straight away. Don't know. Right, anyway, let's not worry about that.
American 1500 is ready.
Yes, he did. He did clear to 240. Okay, well, I will set it. That is something I'd never do in real life. Would confirm with ATC. But that makes sense if he clears us to 240.
Alpha, actually Bravo would work for us. It will hold short runway 08 American 1500.
We'll do the pre-cruise checks now. So fuel 4 pumps. We've got £14,000 on. Lights coming off. Let's verify the APU's off. I haven't done the after takeoff checklist either, because we've been so busy, and that just kind of shows you the workload you're under when flying an aircraft like this on a VATSIM network, especially if you can't hear sounds properly. Release the cabin crew, passengers can go. Pretty cool. There we are, all done. And he was 240 or 36 miles, whichever comes first, so we'll report that regardless. So it's going to probably be the 36 miles away. And there we are, all done. So if I just maintain heading for a short while, go to heading select, I'll switch this to GPS. There we are, it seems to be working completely fine. So if I go to waypoint change 01, I should line that up. It's worked perfectly. So back to VOR lock, and we're now in GPS or INS. Okay, so the INS navigation now is actually this distance here is counting down the distance from Rickle. This is counting up the distance from the Grand Cayman VOR, so that's worked completely fine. There we are. What a busy departure that was, wow. Because there's no radar here as well, it makes the workload much higher for the ATC controller. So it's reliant on me saying I'm passing flight level 240 or I am 10 miles in this case here from Rickle. And a gross error check for the navigation is when we're 10 miles from Rickle, that should say 36. So when that says 10, that should say 36. Alpaca 5 Kilo Echo 20 DME, passing 15,000. Yeah, that's it. Now, as soon as you pass the transition altitude, we'll set standard as well for 180. But I hope that all makes sense. Mercy, well, that's actually really clever. If he loses too much speed, the aircraft will pitch down. Am I right? You're absolutely correct. So, our pitch mode is very much like level change in the 737 NG. We're in IAS, so the aircraft is pitching to maintain my bug speed, so in this case 280 knots, which I bugged with a fixed climb setting. So if I was to reduce thrust now, the aircraft would pitch down to ensure that we maintain the bug speed, which is 280 here. Thanks a lot, PJager737. I'm off. Great stream. See you on the next one. Good luck getting your PC as well. And hopefully you'll be up here on VATSIM with us all soon. Take care, buddy. Lovely jubbly. Wow, that was a busy approach, but I loved it. Loved every second. Great fun.
And for 1650, I'm able to flight deck for about 3 minutes.
Unbelievable.
Yes, sir.
Cool, let's put a bit of music on. There we are. Alpaca 5 Kilo, Echo 10 miles from Rickle.
Alpaca 5 Kilo, Echo, roger, contact command and control on frequency 124.55, have a good one.
124.55 Alpaca 5 Kilo Echo. See ya. See ya. Right, it's active. Havana Centre, good afternoon, Alpaca 5 Kilo Echo. Climbing flight level 240, inbound Rickle. Need to set standard now.
Alpaca 5 Kilo Echo. Havana Centre, with a contact passing flight level 195. 6 miles from Rickle. Climbing maintain flight level 340. Route direct Maxim. Mike Alpha X-ray India Mike.
Climb flight level 340, route direct to Maxim Alpaca 5 Kilo Echo. Now you might have to stand by on that one because I don't have Maxim on my flight plan, which means I'd have to reprogram the INS with an existing waypoint. I don't. I only have Uniform Charlie Lima, Uniform Hotel Alpha and Fishhook. So I'm going to have to tell him, I mean I could reprogram the INS and put the waypoint in. I'm going to make my life as easy as possible and just fly to one of the existing waypoints we have here. Right, I think I might have made an issue with this INS as well because it's now routing to a waypoint 100 miles away. Oh no, I think that's correct. Yeah, because let's just do a quick check there. Let's check it conventionally, and then I have to advise him. Right, what's the next en route VOR here? Bear with me 2 seconds, guys. It is KO Largo 112.1, so I'll put that as active. And then we'll have to tell AC straight away we can't accept that clearance. So 112.1, yeah, that's definitely correct. Look, 97 miles, 97 miles. Yeah, so we are inbound to the correct VOR. Javier's, could you request a new instruction by saying unable? I will, as you'll see here. So I'm going to ask to request flight plan route, or I might ask for a direct to either Uniform Charlie Lima or Uniform Hotel Alpha. I think someone just spoke on the radio though, so I'll just give him another couple of seconds. Alright, let's give it a go. Havana Radar, Alpaca 5 Kilo Echo. We don't have Maxim in our flight plan, and we're flying conventionally. Is it possible we could route either direct to our active waypoint, which is Uniform Charlie Lima or Uniform Hotel Alpha, Havana?
Alpaca 5 Kilo Echo Roger. Proceed direct to Uniform Hotel Alpha.
Direct to the Havana VOR, Alpaca 5 Kilo Echo. Now that we can do because Havana VOR we programmed as waypoint number 3, so we could do two things. You could use VR or INS, and to update your active waypoint here, I'm going to go to waypoint change, type in 0, 3, and now it's going to route direct to the Havana VOR, which we programmed as waypoint number 3. So it's really important when you're using INS and you programmed the INS that you make a note of which waypoints which you've programmed. So if you get a direct like that, you could just update it there. And great, it's also a VOR, so what we can also do is tune up 16.1. We're a little bit out of range. No, we're not. And look at that. It's pretty accurate. 180, 180. So this is DME based off INS navigation. This is DME based off the DME for the VOR. So you'll see there's a slight delay. That's because of the slant range. This is going to be based off your coordinates, not taking your height into account, whereas this will. I should think it'd be a little bit quicker changing, but there might be a slight discrepancy with the coordinates. So I'm pretty confident that's the correct one. We can put 16.1 on both sides. And the course we can line up here as well. You can see, look, the HSI, or sorry, the RMI needle spinning round. Put the course to 342, which is what INS is programmed, and you can see, look, it's a little bit off, but we'll use INS navigation primarily. So yeah, I hope that all makes sense again. So really cool to fly these aircraft. You can still navigate them conventionally. Geographically, let's show you where we are going. So that's where we started our day, in Kingston. We flew all the way to Cayman Islands, Georgetown International. Now northbound, we're going to fly right over the top of Cuba, Havana, and there's our destination at Key West Airport here. We're going to request to fly a visual approach. Toby says, see you, man. Take care. Laura's Lincoln saying we set standard. I remembered that one, but you might have been a bit before that. Berlin flight for context, if I'm not mistaken, 0 is always the current position, so 03 is direct to waypoint 3. I'm not 100% sure. I know you always put 0 in first, then the programmed waypoint to route from your present position to the active waypoint. But without looking at the manual in a bit more detail, I cannot say for certain. Llama mechanics. Javier's just popped in for the second leg. Great job flying this oldie. I had my hands full on the first leg, even with using autopilot after departure. It's a high workload aircraft. You saw I was trying to hand fly that SID, and then because I couldn't hear ATC, I was fiddling with the X-Pilot client, and then my speed blew past 250 knots. So yeah, you've got to really be on the ball when flying this thing. Oh, Tobias, no, I'm not leaving. It was just the Rasta tow truck man. He's gone. Martin, yeah, it's Steve Manual says 03, meaning your current position to waypoint 3. Okay, so by inserting 0, now you're turning it from your present position route direct to the next waypoint. Very cool. Because I wasn't sure, because 0 you obviously plug in as your initial coordinates when you load up the INS. Siraj B, does this have a spare bulbs compartment too? It doesn't, so I don't know what you do when your bulbs go and blow. They're probably somewhere else. I must do that. I'm not flying still for another 2 weeks at the moment, guys, because of the coronavirus pandemic. All flying's pretty much stopped, but I'll try and take a picture of inside the spare bulbs latch and put it on Insta, because someone asked in a stream recently, and I forgot to do it. No, that's flu. But I'm flying 1 flight a month max. Oh, it's completely killed off the work. RS Turbo 50 workload on many Boeings is high in comparison to Airbus. Well, obviously the Airbus A300, which we've flown recently, is obviously a lot more tech even than this aircraft. The workload on this aircraft is particularly high because it's very conventionally based. The NG 737 and Airbus workload, obviously I fly the NG. It's I wouldn't say it's not easy. It's on a normal day, work is very easy, but it's those days where the weather's on limits, you've got delays, you have a passenger that's ill. That's the difficult days. But a day-to-day flight in this aircraft, in the NG, sorry, it's not particularly challenging. Yeah, like I said, that's a CAV-OK calm wind day. They're the best days, but I'd say only 10% of days are like that anyway. Flight for Captain, can you play Frontier Flight Simulator? What's that? Oh, I think I know what that is, because I get an email every 2 weeks from these developers saying, please can you try out Frontier Flight Simulator, we'll pay you. And I'm like, no thanks. I'm not going to play a game that's completely different. So I'm like, no, I'm alright, I'll just carry on playing X-Plane 11. I mean, I do occasionally play some other games, but I won't accept that sort of stuff. But what I do accept is people very kindly offer me sceneries or something like that, or pay where airport to fly, which I'll take obviously to use. It's great for me, but I always like to do giveaways where possible. Marco Gorman, good evening, Captain. Great live, thank you very much, buddy.
200 climbing to flight level 240. Passenger 49, have understand radar contact, passing to flight level 200. Cabin maintain flight level 340. Route direct max.
Lawrence Smith, have you ever thought about flying Hellos? Now that's a request that has been made. Fly a helicopter in X-Plane 11. I have one. I have a Huey helicopter pay whatever, which I never got around to learn to fly because I tried it once and I couldn't, kept crashing.
Doing QS at giving you guys an entry point, which is at maximum. Roger.
Now, to be fair to the controller, I've just realised something. Obviously, my flight plan has been generated from SimBrief, but I don't think I'd be able to fly this in real life because it takes you straight for a danger area or restricted airspace. So we might get something different from ATC. We'll see. Right, approaching flight level 340. We're still Actually, I'll start bugging the speed back now because I've reached my target cruise speed, which is .74. So I'll start bringing the indicated airspeed back. And we've got our climb thrust still 95%, approaching 340. Boeing is the export helicopters. Kick my cat. I saw that I was about to watch him live on Discord to take off, but unfortunately I had to nip off, and Finn showed me a screenshot of Boeing's attempts. 2 tons of love. Key West approaches, giving visual for runway 09 at present. That's perfect. Exactly what I planned to do today. I love flying live time live weather because obviously right here in the evening in the UK it's 7:30. But right now local time here I think is what 5 hours behind, so 2:30, 1:30 maybe 3:30. I'm not sure. Canol DeCarli, are you looking forward to play Cyberpunk 2077? I've heard about it. I know it's got Keanu Reeves. I can't remember his first name now, but I probably won't play it. It's not my sort of thing. All of Boeing's helicopters have headed back on the ground, sometimes upside down. So a little bit of Cuba coming into view.
Over 5 Kilo Echo, are you able from Uniform Hotel Alpha proceed direct to Foxtrot India Sierra?
I can proceed direct to Foxtrot India Sierra now or after Havana. It's up to you, Alpaca 5 Kilo Echo.
After Havana.
After Havana, route direct to Foxtrot India Sierra Alpaca 5 Kilo Echo. Thank you. Perfect. So I think that's as planned anyway. So we've got the NDB program. So yeah, after Havana, Uniform Hotel Alpha direct to Fishhook NDB, which is pretty much on the approach into Key West. There's no stars into Key West. Marcel, what do pilots like to do during long-board cruises? Play I Spy? That's a joke, by the way. What we usually do is just have a good chat, especially at the moment, because you get to know a lot of your colleagues that you fly with, and because you don't see them for so often. Honestly, you could sit there 3-4 hour sector and you'd be like, wow, where's the last 3 hours gone? You've been chatting away. Just generally having a chat with those guys, especially now when I'm flying so frequently. I usually try to keep up with the manuals, especially in the winter at the moment. Winter ops, I'm just not getting that exposure. So when you go fly and it happens to be, freezing conditions, below freezing snow and stuff, I haven't flown or operated in those conditions in nearly coming up to 2 years as captain. So I'm reviewing all the manuals we have pretty much constantly on the sector, especially on the approach. There's plenty there to keep you busy. And look out the window, absolutely listen to it. Yeah, have we've flown visual approaches before, but not for a while. We'll talk all about visual approaches, of course.
I don't have Maxim on the MCD.
Cayman 165, so it's not we're giving. I'm worked out an entry point with Key West here, and it's a Maxim for you guys.
So I think anyone that's used SimBrief got Maxim on their clearance, because I didn't. Oh, look at my speed's come a bit high here. Let's keep bringing that speed back so we maintain decimal 74. That should zoom us up to 340 quite quickly now.
Yeah, Maxim is on the border of Havana.
Yes, I think Maxim's the Oceanic is the FIR entry point for Florida and Havana and vice versa. Checks. There we go. Look at some nice external views. I did download Ortho for our sector, which should look quite nice. 2 tons of love, looks like towers coming online for Key West. Awesome.
Of Mike Echo Oscar Whiskey, say indicated airspeed. Indicated airspeed is 197.
the Burko Fly High Captain just watched the Blériot 11 stream. Fantastic viewing. Thank you very much, Burko Flyer. I loved that stream. I think it was very popular with you guys. So we'll wheel out the Blériot 11 again very soon. I have a flight in mind for you guys to enjoy. So.
Havana Center, good evening, correction, good afternoon, American 1500, flight level...
gorgeous scenery it will be when we get a bit higher.
American 1500, Havana Center.
Sorry, a bit higher, a bit further north.
Climb and maintain flight level 320, route direct maximum, Mike Alpha X-ray, dear Mike.
And again, a very short flight will be descending before you know it. Oh, what am I doing?
Roger, climb and maintain flight level 320, direct maximum, and American 1500, we have a destination change.
Uh-oh. Diversion.
Okay, what's the destination, sir? We need to divert to Miami, American 1500. Okay,
Actually, is this? I think this might be stock, this bit. I thought I downloaded the tile here, but because of that shortcut we got, I think that might be stock Explain 11, this part. But definitely over Havana, I downloaded the...
Roger, direct Miami by the Fundy intersection, direct Miami.
Swifty, hi Captain, sorry I couldn't join you on the flight. I had to do homework, join on the next one. No problem, Swifty. Glad you prioritised your homework. Very good. And there we are, 340. My goodness, we're going 77, so I'm going to bring that thrust back now. I miss not having I miss having a auto throttle. That's for sure. There we are. We'll do a little bit faster. Excellent. So inbound to Havana. There we go. There's our station Key West. We need to actually work out how to descend. So what we'll do here is put the charts.
Go ahead, sir.
Airport, sorry. Let's bring up Key West. Now we're going to be flying a visual approach, so we're not going to be using any charts or anything. A visual approach, guys, is basically an approach without the aid of vectors or a procedural arrival. So you just basically position the aircraft yourself with reference to terrain outside. The only requirements are to fly the visual approach. You need to be inside the runway and keep the runway in sight at all times. So there's no approach really I'm going to select here. However, just for reference, there is an NDB approach here, which is offset. It's in fact so far offset, more than 20 degrees. They only give you circling minima, and it leaves you very high. I actually flew this in a DC3 stream once, 900 feet, 1 mile away. Forget about a straight-in approach. 1 mile away at 900 feet, you're way too high. So I think the idea is you join a circuit downwind and or over the top and then join downwind. But it's very difficult in an aircraft like this. So definitely a visual for us. But I just wanted to reference this VOR here, just to the north. 13.5, so it's
Miami, asphalt, copy maintain, file up 150, squawk 3421.
FlyFan, can you fly the Aerofly 2737-200? Very nice, please search. I don't use Aerofly Simulator Flight Fun. This is probably the best replication of a 737-200 you're going to find, so I'll be sticking to this one.
Center Delta, I got to update my flight plan, my flight just happened to 64. So I'll update that, but we're clear from Havana to Miami as file, maintaining 150 to take off, and we'll be squawking 3421.
This is like tango music. This was a little bit better suited for when we left Havana.
I would expect 06, and we'll be calling for...
Actually, I just realised
push start.
they do have RNAV approaches here, so yeah, I mean, we're not RNAV equipped to fly this. I mean, you could technically load up each waypoint, but IDIS would not be sufficient here. But yeah, there is an instrument approach available. We don't want to fly that too.
Good afternoon.
Perfect. So, still relying on the INS. There is Cuba straight ahead. Oliver, I would not want to tango to this. Sounds like my old tapes had played. Amazing. Well, we're on the high side of the speed, and we're going to simply, for our top of descent here, just use 3 times our height.
American 1500.
So we're at 34,000 feet, so 34 times 3, 102. So yeah, 100 miles away here. We'll initiate our descent.
Stand by.
So about 40 miles to go. Yeah, let's look at the landing performance as well. The visual here, runway 09. So, yeah, this is not going to be pretty, guys. Okay. Runway distance available for 09. Wind's definitely 09 with the forecast there. 1,500 meters. This is not a long runway. Very brave taking the 200 if I'm honest. Landing distance beyond the threshold 4,800 feet, so it's around 1,400 meters. It's short, so we're going to have to go to the end, vacate echo, and they're going to be flat 40 as well, for short. So,
Mike Alpha, X-ray, India Mike.
we are, so landing, flat 40. We'll update the speeds later, but VRS 125, so I'm going to fly 130. We'll double check what the wind is later. Speeds up 10 high again, so just do that.
Continue flying the flight level 3, so can you confirm the...
And there is Cuba. Bye bye butter, I know Topius. Alexander, your flight plan shows A1 on AV10, B2 on AV5. Okay, that may be why the controller thought you could route direct to Maxim. If I'm honest, Alexander, I haven't filed a flight plan in over 12 years when I was last doing my instrument rating. So I don't really take too much effort when I'm filing a flight plan on VATSIM because I know it pre-files a lot of that stuff. I had a funny feeling that when you selected the 200, it automatically changed your equipment to reflect what you had, but I do remember in the 727 having to change that, but yeah, I did not change it there. So if ATC is really looking at in detail, he's going to presume that I'm routing there. But my routing, my flight plan, doesn't have anything regarding Maxim, so generally speaking, I'd think a controller would stick to your filed flight plan, regardless of the equipment you have on board.
American 1500.
Wicked.
You're cleared to Miami via direct 1B. The
As
Marathon
advised, we have some ATC in Key West, which is pretty cool.
Cursor 5 arrival. Direct Miami via Fundy.
Oh yes, we do have Key West approach tower online. Superb. I've got the Orbex scenery installed as well, so I have all the True F series, Florida and Key West for X-11 as well. It looks really cool, and it's in the sale now as well. I think Orbex do some really generous sales as well. I did look at it earlier. Did I make a note of it? I did. Yeah, I think you can get the Key West Orbex scenery for like €14 at the moment, and all the True F scenery is basically half price. Bit high on speed again, but we don't mind that. Thanks for subscribing. Gate 28 Live, welcome aboard. Flight phone, we trust you. There will be a butter landing.
Alpaca 5 Kilo Echo, descend and maintain 17,000, QS altimeter 3006.
Sorry, confirm cleared altitude, Alpaca 5 Kilo Echo. Stupid music.
17,000.
Send 17,000, Alpaca 5 Kilo Echo. Someone in chat confirm what the QNH was, otherwise they're gonna... Oh god. Let me just set the altitude first. Again, a bit early with the altitude, but we'll go straight down this time. So 17,000. Told you it was a short sector. Indicated airspeed.
Hi, good afternoon, Caribbean.
Did you set thrust to idle?
Request IFR clearance to Key West, please.
There we are. Thrust to idle. Bug.
1650, Havana Center, standby, request number 2.
3006.
Alright, can I get it through a PDC? Havana doesn't do PDC, you're in the Caribbean.
Thanks, guys. Top of the sentence, chat. Wait. Right, 3006. Where's my standby? There it is. It's a bit early for descent.
Mike Uniform Victor Romeo. Climb, maintain 3,500 feet direct, and squawk 5001.
Ah, yes, let's have a little look at Cuba here. I don't think we should have any control coming out the front of the engine. Slight issue we explained there.
1041, clear for flight to Paradero. Ascend and maintain 3,500. 3445.
Wicked. So 9, 18, 27, we're at 22,000, we're about 5,000 feet high. So we'll just keep extending for now. There's no chart, remember, we're flying a visual approach, but for reference, we've got the RNAV approach to see where you are. But no distance here is going to help. This will be DME from the VOR, which is not on the field, so we're going to be completely reliant on seeing what we can see out the window. Toby's the DC3 landing was minus 68, so no pressure. We've buttered the DC3, didn't we? Oh gosh, I still realise I've got that silly pole pinned here. I'll remove that. Anyone that's going to be clicking that link going, that doesn't count. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. I've retracted the message instead of removing the pin, and now it's not letting me remove the pin. Great. Thanks, YouTube. So if you remove a message, you can't unpin it. Right, well, what I'll do, I'll link the DC3 stream. That'll work. That'd be really cool.
My Echo Oscar Whiskey Cross Maxim at 17,000. QS altimeter 3006.
Hey guys, if you want to see some... Oh, I'm going to hear my own voice here. Check out this stream from almost a year ago, where we last flew into Key West, and then hopefully I can pin this. Replace pinned comments. Yay, thanks YouTube. There you go. There's a link to the DC3 stream. How cool is that? 816.24, it's about 5,000 feet high. I'm going to add a bit of thrust here, so I don't want to get too much lower. We'll bring the speed back to 250 knots as well. We'll add a bit more thrust. So the aircraft, it shouldn't climb, it should at least maintain level flight instead of climbing here. Flight fun batter's coming, guys, don't you worry. Yeah, did you not listen to my briefing? A 1,500 metre runway, and the FlyJSim 200, when you fly a bit slow, it does feel a bit lethargic in pitch. I don't know if that's true to the 200, but not so much in 800. Are you real streamer? Yeah, no. Didn't update my pin comment. What's also really cool with INS is if you go here to Otis's time we still have it, you can see how many minutes it takes to get there and your distance. So you can work out 13 minutes away. If you did 1,000 feet per minute, we'd be about 5,000 feet high. So you can just use that. So many different ways of calculating it.
Turn left direct to maximum. Mike Alpha, X-ray India Mike.
Left on to maximum, climb flight level 360 Alpha, cut 3 Kilo Alpha.
Repeat departure, Caribbean 1650. Cayman 1650.
How is the fly model, Boeing? But I like the FlyJSim there. On approach, it feels a bit laggy in pitch, but overall quite very happy with how it flies. Pitch and power is very close to the NG anyway. But I'd never flew this aircraft, but it flies very 737-E. Is that a word? So there's 17,000. I cleared altitude. We can maintain that for a short while. Just have to make sure we add thrust there. What I'm going to do is set the minimum swell to 500, even though there's no minimums on this approach. That's just a nice little reminder this light will illuminate when we're at the point where we need to be completely stable. Nico Guy, I want to buy the 732. Would you say it's worth it? Absolutely. If you want to fly like you were back in the 60s, it's the best way of doing it. It's absolutely awesome. That's why I keep streaming in it. Great for my instrument navigation, practice. It's an awesome aircraft. Right, let's do 50 knots, maintaining 17,000 on 3006. Lovely. So we'll initiate further descent now, I think, as well. Alpaca 5 Kilo Echo request further descent.
Yeah, I'm working out something here with the person. You can descend and maintain 15,000.
Descend maintain 15,000 Alpaca 5 Kilo Echo. 15,000 set then. Indicated airspeed hold. Slowly reduce that thrust again. Working on something.
Alpaca 5 Kilo Echo. Amend that altitude to 10,000.
Descend maintain 10,000 Alpaca 5 Kilo Echo. So 10,000 feet set.
Cayman 1650. Radar contact.
Listen, said to Tobias, you should make a complication video ranking the top 10 butters also and his reactions. This won't be in the top 10, I can assure you that. There we are. Water brake to max. Signal signs coming on. About 15 minutes to go. Violin and R&B. This is a random copyright-free playlist, so you can use this music for streams. It's really cool. It's on Spotify. I had one on Streamlabs, but it's called Chill Lounge. It's called Chill Lounge, copyright-free. I had to be careful because there's a few that stuck in that weren't, so I got they got flagged by YouTube.
Alpaca 5 Kilo Echo contact Key West approach on 124.025.
124.025 Alpaca 5 Kilo Echo. Good day, sir. Was that the original frequency? I forgot. It's a goddamn 200 with the silly wiggle waggle switches. I hope you got the message. Oh, I'm so sorry, buddy, if you didn't. 124.025. Oh, I hate it. Little waggle switch here. 124.025. Key West approach, good day, Alpaca 5 Kilo Echo descending to altitude 10,000 inbound to the fisheye NDB at range 50 miles.
Alpaca 5, Kilo Echo, Key West approach hello, Key West altimeter 3006, expect visual approach runway matter.
Altimeter 3006, expect visual runway 9 Alpaca 5 Kilo Echo. I couldn't think of what to say there because I'm not inbound. Well, I'm flying a visual approach, but I am still inbound to I couldn't remember if it was the NDB, what the NDB was called. It was fisheye, wasn't it? There we are, fish hook. Sorry, just I said fisheye. Now, technically, it's a bit of an unusual clearance because. You know, we're not actually technically inbound to that NDB. We can't be inbound to NDB. We're well out of range of it, but it's what we've programmed into the INS anyway. Fish eye. Fish hook. Ouch. So when we've been cleared a visual approach, we'll self-position the aircraft to fly that. We can't really fly from the NDB onto a final approach because that's going to be way too short. That's going to be around a 2 mile final or so. So we'll self-position to roughly where I think a 4 mile final is.
Golf Mike Echo Oscar Whiskey, Key West approach hello, Key West altimeter 3006, expect visual approach runway matter.
Just have a little look here on the NDB approach. I mean the fish. Okay, yeah, the NDB. If I fly direct to it. It's just for the road. It's onto a 1 mile final. It's way too tight, and I'd have to be at that 500 feet turning final. So when we've been cleared visual, we'll make a slight left turn, and we've got to try our best in a desktop simulator to fly the approach visually, looking at that. But it could be quite tricky. So about 40 miles to run. We're at 12,000 feet, so that makes about sense. Makes sense roughly. So we're okay for height. Colin Simmons, good afternoon from the Bahamas. Good day to you. We've got one to go. We'll do the post-cruise checks now before it gets a bit busy. All those lights on actually, so we don't have to worry about it on approach. So fuel 4 pumps, we have, excuse me, just a little over 10,000 pounds, so plenty of fuel. APS off, pressurization. Diff pressure is 4.0.
Alpaca 5 Kilo Echo, turn left heading 360 vector to final.
Left heading 360 degrees vectors for the visual approach, Alpaca 5 Kilo Echo. So 360, it's completely normal to get vectors for a visual approach as well, so they'll hopefully sequence you in to a point there, which is supposed to approach, and that's all done. Recall, there we are, which is complete, and we're just levelling off at 10,000 feet for now. So this is tricky, a visual approach in a desktop sim, because you've got to be able to see the runway, work out how high you are,
Golf Mike Echo Oscar
descent
Whiskey,
based
flying
off that.
040 to set a maintain 10.
So obviously now this is going to all misalign. So what I'm actually going to do is turn off INS. So we're going to go over to nav. I'm also going to detune the VOR. 13. Let's put that one on. Oh no, it's still active. Let's just put a random freak in here. There we are, that's detuned it, so that's not going to give us any erroneous information. And course, I'm just going to line that up with the runway QDM. So that was 093. And what that does, when you're flying a visual approach, it gives you your orientation in relation to the runway, which is very helpful. As you can see here, look, we're pretty much on a direct base leg, so you know what the runway direction is. So that's what we do. Obviously you lose your DME distance associated with that, which is actually pretty tricky. So what I might do temporarily is just tune that VOR back up so you've got a rough idea how far you are. What was the VOR nearby called? It's good enough though, 13.5, so I'll just tune that up briefly. There we are, so you've got the DME distance there. We need to request descent now. Alpaca 5 Kilo Echo, request further descent.
Alpaca 5 Kilo Echo, descend and maintain 5,000.
So maintain 5,000, Alpaca 5 Kilo Echo. It's a little bit high here if we want to go straight in, but I think this will be probably taking us on to around
Echo Oscar Whiskey,
10 mile finals, so 10,000 feet IS. So now going to go down to 5,000, which is set. Obviously ignore this now, but I only tune this up. Actually, you know what, I'll go back to 61, I'll put 13.5 as active, because that gives me a rough DME distance here from the airport, so it's nice to have for situation awareness.
Good afternoon, Key West approach.
So yeah, DMET I'll keep tuned because that's going to be roughly how many miles away I am from the airfield. Really useful.
Korean 1650, Key West approach.
Okay, XX Burger fan, thanks for $5. You should get TikTok, alpaca. Thanks. I'm going to pass on that.
40,
Not sort of
30,
the TikTok
20,
social media
10,
kind of guy. I have the Instagram and Facebook purely with FlyJSim.
Echo Oscar
You should get TikTok.
But I only have Messenger for my friends. My personal Facebook I never use. I used to a lot more when I was young.
Echo Oscar Whiskey, you can maintain
Thanks anyway. All fun and games until AC tells you to tell the heading of 370. Brilliant. So geographically, there is Key West coming into view. I know from practice the airport is just... there it is. No, not quite there. There it is. I think it's in that part of land, but that's very unfamiliar with this surrounding area. So I don't fly here. But this heading's nice. This should take us onto a nice longish final. 20 miles away. Still, obviously not. That's not going to count down that much. In fact, I'm probably a bit high here. So what I'm going to do is use a bit of speed brake. Should be on flight D10 though. There we go. So I reckon this will probably take us to around a 12-mile final. And looking at the position of where the VOR is.
Turn right heading 020 to set maintain 3000.
Riding 020 degrees and maintain 3,000 feet. Now back at 5 kilo echo. So yeah, coming in a little bit high. We've got the speed brake out now. I'm going to bring the speed back to 200 knots. Start selecting flap as well. So I'm sort of kind of guesstimating our position and where, you know, visually where the runway is. We know it's here, so I feel a bit high. And that's just from experience from the real aircraft. Speed brake's nice and effective. It's better with the NGs. What was I going to do? I can't remember now. Oh yeah, update flaps. So yeah, we'll supply 130 on final. And I'm going to start selecting flaps now. I'm going to flaps 1 initially, just maintain around 200 knots, flap 5 with speed brake. So 20 miles, 4.6. We're not too far off here actually, guys. Paul F says, come on, let's see you can do some dancing on TikTok. Paul F, you will be the last person I'd expect that would want me to encourage the use of TikTok. Bowen, funny, very funny. I had nightmares about horses. Idiot. I did have a nightmare about a horse about 3 weeks ago. Told everyone on Discord about it. Miranda found that very funny. Right, approach checks then, visual approach, nothing to tune. Got the stab out of trim light.
Maintain 210 knots, instead of maintain 2000.
Maintain 210 knots, descend, maintain 2,000 feet, Alpaca 5
50,
kilo echo.
40,
So we're going to go
30,
flat 5 now.
20,
As cleared.
10.
Thanks a lot, Gordon Smith, for the £5. Very kind of you, sir.
This is to pay cabin crew. They don't seem to have brought you a drink through 2 flights. Must have dozed off.
Thanks a lot, Gordon Smith. I've got my water, which is approved drink there. But thank you very much for your generous donation. There. Hopefully, I'll have a nice drink after the stream here. Right, so approaching the point at which we want to turn final here. 13 miles, 3,000 feet. I think we're bang on here. So I'm going to get rid of that speed brake now to increase my workload. I'm going to arm it, or decrease my workload. I'm going to arm it. We're maintaining this.
Turn right heading 060 to set maintain 1,500 to report the kill inside.
Riding 060 degrees, set altitude 1,500 feet, and report visual Alpaca 5 kilo echo. It's been perfect vectors, so 12 miles away. I'm actually going to leave that tuned because it's going to give a rough distance here. I mean, it's tricky in a desktop simulator. Let's see what we can see here. I mean, what can we see? What can we see? Someone that's local to the area will be better at telling me what we can see here, but I feel like we should be making a bit more of a turn onto final here, just because of where the position of the VOR is.
210 knots, Cayman 1650.
I know it's around. Is that it there? I think that's the runway there. See it? Like a 5 kilo echo runway inside.
Alpaca 5 Kilo Code, thank you. Cleared visual approach, runway 9er.
Cleared visual approach, runway 9, Alpaca 5 Kilo Echo. So visual approach doesn't necessarily mean you disconnect everything like that. It's just because the automation's going to be quite hard to fiddle with when flying manually here. So we've completely disconnected. I'm having to half get... Oh gosh, don't stop climbing. So it's going to maintain around 2,000 feet here and bring that speed there until I get a bit more of the runway in sight. As I said, it's very difficult in a desktop.
5 Kilo Echo, contact Key West Tower,
Oh,
118.2, good day.
What was that tower frequency? I've got it here on my second box. Tower on frequency 1182, Alpaca 5 Kilo Echo, bye. Now this is where it gets very tricky because I'm hand flying trying to tune frequencies. I forgot this tower online. Please be in trim, please be in trim. There we go, 182. Oh dear, I'm descending already. So, don't get confused with this DME distance here, that is not correct. I'm just going to get back up to around 1700, just maintain level flight. This is so tricky, I was hand flying, because you don't have any guidance on the approach, it's visual. I can see the pappies now, which are 4 reds, that's okay at this stage, just maintain altitude. What I should have done is just maintain 2000 until we got to level there, but we've just been descending to the platform, so very tricky. Oh, my speed all over the place as well. Let's get the speed back. Key West Tower, hello, Alpaca 5 Kilo Echo's final visual approach runway 9er.
Gobble gobble. Alpaca 5 Kilo Alpha, Key West Tower. Very good afternoon to you, sir. Wind 100 at 9er. Traffic will hold short. Runway 9er, clear to land.
Runway 9er, clear to land, Alpaca 5 Kilo Echo. What was that? Gobble gobble? Not sure. So yeah, a bit screwed up with that visual approach. It didn't help that I was heads down trying to tune that frequency there. But yeah, I should have maintained 2000. We were cleared to 1500, but I was a little bit up and down there. But we can see the pappies now. It's a little bit clearer. I'm going to start configuring now, gear down, flat 15. I'm not going to bother matching the speed. Oh god, my new mouse is very sensitive. Going to fly 130 knots, okay. Let's start our gentle descent now. So, start switches. Oh, this is just not easy, single pilot. Not easy at all. Start switches continuous. Look at that rate of descent, that's really bad. Recall checked. Speed brakes armed, green light. Landing gear is down 3 green. Order brake is set to max. And we're just holding on our landing flap, which is going to be flat 40. Start adding that thrust now. A lot of drag associated with this. There we are, back on profile, so start descending now, maintain about 130 knots. So it looks okay for that profile now, reset that rate of descent there, 800 feet per minute. If this was my line check, my training captain would be very concerned, but it's been great fun. Right, flaps, we've got 40, green light, lights are on, jet's complete. I see 2 whites, 2 reds, we're a little bit right of centre line, so let's correct that now. Wind check please.
Wind 100 at 9er.
So wind's pretty much straight down the runway, slightly to the right. So back on profile, speed's okay, tad high, 33. We've got a good headwind here. We'll try and get that slowly back to 130. There it goes. There we are. So we're nicely on the profile here. A little bit high. Let's set about 800-900 feet per minute to get that back on profile. There we are. Back to 2 reds, 2 whites. Speed's okay. Keep scanning, look at all those instruments. Speed's slowly creeping up, so take a tad bit of thrust off. There's our point at which we need to be completely stabilised, which we are for the visual. It's not technically a minimums. Remember, it's only 1,500 metres runway. I don't care what you guys think, and screw my landing rate history. I'm going to be plonking this down into touchdown zone because I'll go off the end of the runway. Checked. On profile and speed. Looking very nice here. Checked. Nice tiny little inputs, looking very nice now. Only 30 metres wide as well, which doesn't help.
50, 40, 30,
Check.
20,
Close.
875, traffic 10
Hold the attitude, hold that attitude.
Runway 9er.
Oh, not bad. Minus 220. More than happy with that on this runway. Right, reverses. Buckets are out. 100 knots. 80 knots. So this is max order brake here. We're nearly off the end of the runway, look. And 60 knots. Manual braking. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Key West here. And there you go, all of that runway use with max auto brake. That is such a short runway here. Incredible. We're down. That went much better than I thought. Approach, not so much, but reasonably happy.
Runway 901 departure.
There we are. Stow the buckets.
Alpaca 5 Kilo Echo, welcome to Key West. This right turn here. Taxi Alpha to the ramp. Stay with me. A very happy Thanksgiving to you and the crew, sir.
Thank you very much for vacating Alpha to ramp, and have a great Thanksgiving to Alpaca 5 Kilo Echo. Good day. Wicked.
Alpaca 875, wind 100 at
And,
Niner, runway 9.
I nearly followed this taxiway. That would have been great. Anyway, here we are, Key West. Wonderful. What a flight. So yeah, that visual approach there, tricky. Tricky in an aircraft like this, tricky to fly any sort of visual approach in a desktop simulator, regardless of the aircraft you're there. So you saw when I got on final, pretty happy, cleared to 1500, but then we got the frequency change. My head's down here, fiddling around with stuff, and I got a little bit unstable there, but well above the point at where we need to be stable. But it's obviously very tricky to do those sort of things. I'm waiting to get in stock the radio tuning panel, which will make my life so much easier. But yeah, we got down in one piece and safely, so pretty happy. Right, we'll take the next left here in Delta. APU's on the way. Oh look, there's an aircraft in Alpaca Airways taking off. Sorry, I couldn't see you there. We'll take the next left here.
Alpaca 875, start your left turn, contact Key West departure. See ya.
See ya. We've got a slight issue here because I think I've come in on the wrong apron. Yeah, okay. So a slight wingtip clearance issue here with the Jets Go Portugal. What I'm going to do is just park on this in the wrong direction. How does that sound? can't be that great, but we'll accept that today. Should have come in on the other ramp, but I didn't look clearly on the stand. He just said taxi to ramp. We'll go on this remote stand in the wrong direction. Nothing to see here. Classic Llama International stunt, this. Very tight apron. There we go. Right, let's set the parking brake. Ah, there we are. Scenery, guys, is from... Whoops. Why is that wobbling so much? Well, we'll call that a day. Scenery is from Orbex, guys. Oops, didn't slow the speed brake up. Oh, you guys are going to love that. Fucking brake set. Oh no, the APU's not starting either.
40,
Problems
30,
galore. Thank you very
20,
much. Jonas, let's place for the €5. That's very generous of you.
Just EV called it a day and arrived at home from work, and then you're already landing.
Oh.
Next time I'm hopefully at home by the time you are streaming.
Even Microsoft Jeanette doesn't seem too happy with that. Thank you very much for your kind donation. Jonas Let's Plays, that's very kind. I'm so sorry you missed the stream just live, and we have just landed and calling it a day here, so thank you very much. I'm sorry. It will be available for your replay at least, so you can enjoy the sectors onwards there. Cheers, buddy. Right, so a little bit late with the APU. For some reason it didn't start here. Now in reality what I do or request is a GPU perhaps to be connected first before we shut the engines down, because if I shut the engines down now, we'll immediately lose AC power, which is not obviously beneficial. So you get a GPU card connected, but the reason I'm not doing that is because when I do the replay, it'll screw it all up around, so I'll get the APU on the bus, so you can enjoy the replay and taxi and stand there. Perfect parking, someone said. I've got plenty of Are You a Real Pilot emojis in chat as well. Lovely. Kevin Rank said good morning to you as well. And Steve Mayer said very nice boss. Yeah, pretty happy with that landing though. This is not the sort of runway where you try and get that butter in. You're going to be going off the end. Right, two blues, there's your red, engine's dead. Ladies and gentlemen, as I've said already, welcome to Key West International Airport. Or I say it's international, probably regional. Reverse parking, nothing to see, carry on. Yeah, just ignore the fact that the stop points are there. Wicked. It's going down, and yeah, sim was perfect, no crashes, everything ran smoothly today. 2 nice flights. I hope you learned something new anyway. A little bit of basic instrument navigation, as I've mentioned before. Great for me to practice this at home still. It keeps me reasonably fresh with those skills. So yeah, I think a lot of my colleagues and friends have taken on board how valuable desktop simulators are. I had loads of messages from guys. Even someone commented on today's stream, you know, what sim would you recommend and stuff. It's the best way of keeping current is being able to do this at home. Wicked, so we're going to call that a day. Thanks to all the fantastic controllers providing great ATC. We had ATC for the entire sector today, which is fantastic. Great to be covering in an area which we don't usually fly into as well. So yeah, that's it. Call it a day. Fly for 10 out of 10 stream. Thank you very much, buddy. Hi Tom. Hi Captain. Could I ask for a dedicated video on Cell Cool or shoot short story on your next Zebo stream? Tom, I know we have Cell Cool on the Zebo mod here. I don't know how. I know it's currently just a model and a fixed static gauge at the moment, not working. And secondly, we don't have Cell Cool, Tom Knudsen, so my knowledge is based very much upon what I'd have to look up on the internet, but Pilot Mike would certainly get you a bit more clued up, but we don't have Cell Call here. We rely on CPDLC or voice only, but wicked. On that note, I hope you're doing very well otherwise, Tom. Nice to see you popped in. On that note, guys, we'll call it a day, and then we'll play the funky replay music. I nearly said funk the music. We got the message out there. There we go. So let's position ourselves onto a short final. There we are. So the visual approach for the last 3 or 4 miles, very happy with how it flew. It's just that initial point, getting us all stable. Let's pop ourselves here on the threshold. Turn up the volume so we can enjoy the sounds of the excellent FlyJSim 737-200. Tobias, if you're still here, I should think this has ruined our statistics for the month of November regarding the landing rates. So there's the checked a bit high, but I just held the altitude, don't want to mess around, and pretty much on the money there. Otherwise you're going off the end here, guys. So there's the 300 metre touchdown zone just here. That's where we want to be touching down. Yep, no butter anymore, so Tobias, oh no. Never mind. Safety first. Yeah, right where we want to touch down though. Lovely. Sound, so you can hear that, it's so cool. Let's have a look at the tower view. Awesome aircraft. I think so. Hawaii 345. Definitely overestimation. Let's blame the plug-in. It's actually a -50. Stick that in, Tobias. Wicked. Well then, that's it for today, guys. Thank you very much for tuning in to the FlyJSim 737-200 streams. It's been great fun to take this aircraft out for a spin again. No doubt it won't be too long, I hope. Certainly not 4 months since we last flew this aircraft. Hope we'll fly it in that time before. But thank you very much to everyone that contributed to the stream today. Very, very kind to everyone that donated. Again, to all my members, thank you very much for the continued support there. Very, very kind of you all. And to all the regular subscribers as well, thank you very much for smashing the thumbs up button and taking a look at the stream. Weekend's coming up. I don't have actually any streams planned, but I will be streaming hopefully in the next 3 or 4 days at least a couple of times. So I'll definitely get one thing sorted for this weekend. Keep your eyes tuned out on all the social media feeds and on the channel too. Guys, stay safe to all my American friends. Happy Thanksgiving. I'll see you on the next FlyJSim live stream very soon. Bye for now.